bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically go in and talk about all things going on in hot topics and celebrity news. So that's the show for you. Y'all know what to do. And that would be, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you're aware when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And so we got some news we got to get into. We got to talk about Nicholas Galitzine has given us a little insight on what we could expect with this upcoming Masters of the Universe movie. We got to talk about a Grimm reboot. That was one of my shows back in the day. It's coming back to the TV. We got some Matrix 5 news. And now an actor who was once attached to it may be starring in it. Well, I got the news on whether or not he is. Plus, we got some Britney Spears biopic update. Or we have a Britney Spears biopic update, I should say. There's some tea coming around about Patti LaBelle being seen as a scapegoat in regards of Luther Vandross being outed. We're going to talk about that. Plus, Diddy is apparently jealous that Luigi Mangione is getting all the attention up in the Brooklyn penitentiary. Sonny Hostin husband, child, he caught up in some RICO charges. So we got to talk about that. Plus, Justin Baldoni's lawyer said he got some tea that could pretty much show that there's a pattern of Miss Blake Lively out here being a bully. And then we got some news on Madonna, as well as Wendy Williams. How you doing? And Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck look like they finally have settled their divorce. And we have some tea on RuPaul paying tribute to the Vivian. So I think that post came out yesterday, but apparently I missed it. So we're going to talk about it today. And whatever else is floating around on social media. But y'all know what to do. As I said before, do me a solid, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Let me hit my banner. Let's get right into the show. How y'all doing, whoever's watching? And let's get to our first topic, which is Masters of the Universe. So y'all already know we're getting a He-Man movie. I'm excited because, this is my childhood. As a child of the 80s, I always loved me some He-Man. The He-Man Woman Haters Club. Remember that? That was from Dennis the Menace. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was from the Little Rascals, the remake, the movie that I thought was a cute. That was like one of my favorite movies as a kid growing up. And then they had the He-Man Woman Haters Club, and they kept Darla out of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. That shit was too damn funny. But nevertheless, let's get back to He-Man. So we're getting a He-Man remake, remake, reboot, same crap, different toilet. And while I loved the movie from the 80s, because that was my childhood, the Dolph Lundgren, Frank Langella movie with Meg Foster as Evil Lynn and them eyes, that was what pulled me in for that movie. And I just love the overall 80s campiness of it. However, Nicholas Galitzine, who is going to be playing He-Man in the upcoming reboot, is spilling some tea on what we can expect from the upcoming reboot. And he pretty much says that the tone is not going to be the same as they're moving away from the cheesiness of the original 80s film. So let's get into that story. So the Hollywood Reporter, via sffgazette.com, recently caught up with Nicholas Galitzine and asked if he's been watching the classic He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon, and if so, how that compares to the upcoming movie. Because a lot of times when we hear from people who are playing, be it if it's a cinematic comic book movie or whatever the case is, and they always say, well, do they look into the comic books and reading all the comics and all the other stuff just so that way they can get an idea of what they can pull from when they're playing this character. So Nicholas is basically saying, so that's why they were pretty much asking about, with the whole animated situation. And he says, look, what I will say is our version is quite different from the original animation, which we all agree was camp within its own right and worked so well for the time. But there's been a couple of iterations, obviously, since there was the Revelation version of Master of the Universe and the comics themselves. And I actually like Master of the Universe Revelation. I think they're supposed to be coming out with a new season soon as well. So I like the Revelation show series they had on Netflix. And they also said, and we're very much treating our script as a Bible, but it's kind of amazing to hear that what the show meant to a lot of people. It was really formative for a lot of people. So it's exciting to do something that will have a nostalgia element as well as hopefully attract a bunch of new fans. Now, the decision to veer away from the animated series tone will be good news for some and an unwelcome departure for others. Because, yeah, what happens on social media, a lot of people's getting all upset. They were like, and I think we have come into this habit a lot of times, and I can see why people are being skeptical, is because many times in the past, a lot of times when you have source material laid out in front of your face in these graphic novels, the comics, video games, whatever it is, kind of source material that's been created for that specific lore, a lot of times the jarheads that work behind the scenes will sit up in here and go, you know what? Why don't we just take the name of the franchise and just go in a completely different direction without actually bringing in and capturing the essence of what people love about Masters in the Universe? Now, don't get me wrong. You can capture the essence of what the show is and what it's all about. It's the fact that, He-Man and his destiny of being, Prince Adam, his destiny going to Eternia, that whole vibe of him basically realizing what his destiny is and trying to save Eternia from Skeletor and his minions. If y'all kind of following that vibe and just capture the specific, tone and essence of what that franchise embodies, then I'm here for it. But I've always said in the beginning, like, yeah, you can't do the whole cheesy aspect of the 80s film because it would come across as corny. It wouldn't work in this day and age. But if you can capture the specific tone of the Masters of the Universe and what it is, then I think people will be for it. But also, if they kind of took more of an edgier, like with the action, if they kind of went into this whole Game of Thrones, which is like building the lore and the differentiation, the differences, because it was like, damn, I'm tongue tied on that word. It's like if you can go and bring in the overall differences of, okay, so Skeletor, his background and what his motive is, and then Eternia and their politics, and you bring all that other stuff in there and kind of bring in that whole Game of Thrones houses political angle, then that would be cool. And then if you bring in the overall sorcery, the magic, the action of like a Lord of the Rings, I think that would work in that context. But to sit up here and think like, oh yeah, let's just bring in the full on cheesiness of the cartoon, it's like, no, that wouldn't work if you're trying to do that in a live action form. But if you give us some really cool action sequences and then there's like this political situation of what it is in that whole world of fantasy, then I'm here for it. But the fact of the matter is, look, Travis Knight is behind it. I'm not that nervous in regards to this because he directed Bumblebee. I actually liked Bumblebee. Like, after we were given so many crappy Transformer movies from Michael Bay over the years. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the very first Transformers movie. After that, and look, they took the essence of Transformers in the first one, but they gave us our own little film on regards to that. And they went in their own direction, but they captured the essence of what the first movie was. Like that pandered into or kind of gave a tip of the hat or a nod to the original 80s cartoon. So they were able to capture that. But then after that, once the sequel started, then it got stupid. And then I'm like, okay. And then y'all had to bring in Mark Wahlberg to freaking ruin it. So over the years, it was like, then it got terrible. But in the very first Transformers, I absolutely loved that movie. I can watch that movie so many times and still not be bored with it. And I think it was also because Shia LaBeouf's acting probably elevated the movie, as well as Megan Fox. She was eye candy. And them iconic shots that or them signature shots that Michael Bay puts in his films. But Travis Knight, I trust him. First of all, he was the only one, I think, post the very first Transformers, like I was saying, that actually I felt captured the essence of Transformers, had like this intimate kind of a vibe between Bumblebee and then what was it, Haley Steinfeld, I think, was in the role that came in. What was it, Shailene Woodley? I always get Shailene and the other girl, I always get them confused because they kind of remind me of it, like Haley Steinfeld and Shailene Woodley. I always get them two confused, but I think it was Haley Steinfeld. But anyway, so I like Bumblebee. The only problem was Bumblebee, I think people were so hurt and burned out by so many disappointing Transformers movies that by the time we actually got a good one, people were just like, you know what, I'm not even going to trust y'all enough to go throw down some money in the theater to go see this film. But Bumblebee was a good movie. So I trust in Travis Knight to give us a quality film in the vein of, giving us a full situation about Eternia's greatest warrior and all the people that's going to be behind that. And also, and look, we got people who pretty much have, that were in a lot of good stuff. Speaking of Game of Thrones and this, that, and the other, Sam C. Wilson was in House of the Dragon. He's playing Trapjaw. We got Kojo Ata, who was from The Beekeeper. I actually like that movie. That was a good one from Jason Statham. He don't put out a lot of good ones, but that was a good one in the midst of all the action things that he does. And, he's playing Triclops. And then Hafthor Bjornsson, who is from Game of Thrones, is playing Goatman. So clearly, if y'all happen to be picking actors that are from like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and that sort of thing, now in my mind, I'm wondering, is like, okay, so clearly, if y'all picking actors that are from that world, then that is sort of a blueprint of sorts or inspiration. Y'all taking some sort of inspiration from Game of Thrones in my thinking process. That's what I'm thinking. But along the other cast, we have Alison Brie, who's playing Evil Lynn, Camila Mendez from Riverdale as Tila, and Idris Elba as Tila's father, Man at Arms. I know everybody's gonna be like, oh, his father. Remember, Man at Arms adopted Tila, if you remember the comic with the cartoon. So I'm actually looking forward to this movie. I'm not that nervous about it. I know some people are getting so caught up in like, oh, that means if they move away from the series, then it's going to be trash or whatever the case. I don't think that's necessarily true. So I'm looking forward to seeing this movie, and I'll just wait to see a trailer before I come to a full conclusion. So I said all of this to say, why am I stumbling over my words today? What do y'all think of this story in regards of the rumors that the full tone of Masters in the Universe is going to shift away a bit from the animated series? I feel like you do need to evolve it. We could take it a little serious. Don't take it too damn seriously. Don't just remove all of the overall campiness. There needs to be some moments where it's just like we can have a little fun with the film, but don't just be so serious that it's just like, well, damn, y'all just remove all the fat from the damn meat. So I believe in the way they'll find the balance, especially with, like I said, Travis Knight being the film's director. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Thanks for that video. In politics, yeah, I agree. They're going to make YouTube podcasters the new corporate media. Both David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen can't be trusted. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Brian Tyler Cohen, I was side-eyeing him in a couple of videos I was watching earlier. David Pakman, I've heard so many people coming out talking, saying like, I don't trust him. I'm glad that people like Kyle Kalinske and Sabby Sabs are calling people out on a lot of their stuff. I saw another video that I was watching where they were trying to call Kyle out because he was talking to a bunch of libertarians about like policy or whatever. I feel like that at some point you can be someone who is independent media that can speak to other people from the other side, as long as there is some mutual understanding in that sort of situation. Now, if you're going to be somebody that's just like, okay, well, you're this, and this, and you're not willing to listen and learn, then I don't want to talk to you. But I don't think Kyle will ever go into a place, at least I hope not. But the way he's been talking lately, I'm trusting him in this, that he won't kind of go into the direction of a TYT and basically, bend the knee and do all that mother mess. I don't think he will go in that direction. If he does, I would be completely and utterly disappointed. But, you saying Nicholas Galitzine is miscast. Well, you're not the only one that felt that way. First of all, I was like, what? Who was the other actor? Noah Centineo, or what's his name? Damn, I forgot. I think it is Noah Centineo. I almost forgot his last name. He was supposed to originally play He-Man. I was looking forward to him playing He-Man. And even though the movie was terrible, I did like him in Black Adam. But then they would decide to move on in a different direction. But I don't know. I thought the same thing. But then I saw a recent picture of him where he took a selfie and he's jacked and he's already dyed his hair. So, look, if Chris Hemsworth wasn't a famous person, I would have been like, Chris Hemsworth should play He-Man. But the fact of the matter is he's already played Thor. Thor kind of already looked like He-Man. So, I don't know if that wouldn't work. Not in today's age. So we got to go with somebody else. You say, hello, have you heard about the Mira Mangles? What is that? He said, I love the live action one from the 80s. Oh, I love that one too. I can't tell. Look, I went to the movies to see that. I remember I had my parents when I was little, and I went to go see Masters of the Universe in the theater. And it's funny how I remember that, even though I was a little old child. And I loved the film. But now it's just like, yeah, I love that film, but I don't think that would work in 2026 because that's when it's supposed to be coming out. But I just don't think that vibe of the film would work today, unfortunately. But I was like, yeah, y'all can still capture the essence. You could bring a little bit of that 80s camp in there. I don't know why you couldn't do it. Look, I like campy films. I love Flash Gordon. It's the four worms. I was like, I love Flash Gordon. I love I like that film. I always like that kind of vibe. But yeah, I don't think that will work today. People look at that and be like, this is some cheesy mess. But it's like, we live for the camp. Mary Mango, that redhead drag queen on YouTube that reviews Drag Race with Scarlett, she deleted her channel, IG account, and Patreon after traveling to Las Vegas. Yeah, I didn't even hear nothing about this. I may have to look this up. Hold on, what Miss Mary Mango do? And it's funny, the minute I typed in Mary Mango, it came up. And now Reddit talk about it. They said this morning Mary Mango posted on Instagram the end. Now her channel IG page have disappeared. You can Google her YouTube page, but the link to Google search provides for her page is dead. Anyone know what happened? Was this planned or a very sudden thing? She had been posted up until a few days ago, and I didn't see a video that indicated she was shutting down her channel. So okay, somebody posted a screenshot that said they don't have any information. To my knowledge, Mira is in Las Vegas with some of the Rue girls. And another one says, you can't reach him. All accounts have been scrubbed off the internet. Please try to reach him. Another verse is, and then Scarlett Cyanide. That's the person name. And said, I have reached out and I totally understand your concern. I also want to give Mira their privacy and agency to handle their accounts however they see it. So I don't know. I would have to probably look into this later on to see what all this is. What's up doing with Miss Mira? Oh yeah, because when you go to her Instagram, it's not there no more. I was like, was she bullied? Did she get caught up in something? Well, we'll see. I'll have to look into that. Okay, so now let's move on and let's talk about a show that I used to like back in the day called Grimm. Well, apparently they're reporting that Grimm, a movie, is in the works over at Peacock. Now, why every time now I think about Peacock, I think about that excuse me, that Nikki Glazer joke where she said on at the Golden Globe, she said she's seen more peacocks in her lifetime than actual shows on Peacock. I was like, yeah, nobody's really watching Peacock like that. I mean, I have Peacock and they have some pretty good stuff on there, but a lot of y'all aren't subscribers to it. This is why I always say, like, there's too many streaming services around, but not enough people watching a lot of the streaming services. And what I don't understand about streaming services is that a lot of y'all tend to rent out. Is that the word? Y'all tend to outsource a lot of y'all shows anyway on other streaming services. Because I was like, wait, why is there a Paramount Plus, right? But I can go to Netflix and watch a lot of their shows on there. Like they have The Equalizer, the series with Queen Latifah on Netflix. And I'm sitting there like, why is The Equalizer on Netflix if I have Paramount Plus? So I'm paying for two different streaming services with the same programs. It's like the same thing. Like I didn't watch SWAT over on Paramount Plus, but I'm watching it on Netflix. So some of you streaming services, I think y'all need to shut down. Y'all need to be smart like Sony. And what you need to do, yeah, be smart like Sony and basically just outsource y'all material to other streaming services and you can get your money that way. That'd be the smart thing to do. But all y'all want to try to be like Netflix and compete. But anyway, let's get back to this. So after 6 seasons and 123 episodes, NBC, canceled the monster-filled series Grimm back in 2017. But now it seems like the show could be they're making a movie with a possible reboot in the works. So, a cult favorite supernatural drama is eyeing a comeback as a movie. Now, Peacock is developing a reboot of the 2011 NBC series Grimm, according to Deadline. Now, Drop Dead Diva creator Josh Berman is writing the new take, which he is executive producing with the original series creative team, co-creators, executive producers, and showrunner David Greenwald and Jim Koof. Sean Hayes, yes, Sean Hayes as a Just Jack from Will and Grace, he was a producer on the show. For I don't think a lot of people knew that, but he was. And Tom Milliner's Hazy Mills Productions and Universal Television. Now, the exact premise of the Grimm movie is being kept under wraps. It is believed to have ties to the series for diehard fans, but could easily be assessed by new viewers not familiar with the original mythology, as it introduces new mythology and characters. In success, the follow-up could launch a franchise. Now, the original series followed Portland homicide detective Nick Burkhart, played by David Giuntoli. I haven't seen him since that show was canceled. Where has he been? And then it said who discovered that he's a Grimm, the latest in a line of guardians who was sworn to keep the balance between humanity and mythological creatures. An under the radar show launched on the lower traffic Friday night, Grimm became a breakout during the 2011-2012 season. It went on to run for 6 seasons on NBC, remaining one of Friday's highest rated scripted shows, and it did well internationally for NBC Universal. Now, a year after Grimm bowed out, NBC took a shot at developing a spinoff centered on a female Grimm from writer Melissa Glenn, Hazy Mills, and Universal TV. But Berman boarded Grimm after coming off a 15-year stint for Sony Pictures, blah, 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 so on and so forth. We don't care about all that extra stuff, technical stuff, behind the scenes production stuff. But I don't even remember the female Grimm show. Did it even get off the ground? Or was it or was it canceled? Because I don't remember that show ever happening. First of all, quiet as it's kept, I didn't even, as somebody who liked Grimm, I didn't even know it was that long since it's been off the air. Like, it went off the air in 2017. So that's been like, wait, what is that? It's almost like 8 years that has been off the air. I'm like, damn, time flies. And here's the thing, I liked Grimm. I was one of those that watched that on Friday nights when it was on TV, and it was like I loved the show. I was a big fan of the show, and I like the actor that played Grimm. I was like, okay, I watched it because he was cute, but also because I was in my whole era of supernatural, those type of shows. So I always like, supernatural based type shows. Was like people fighting monsters, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like I already told y'all, I started rewatching old episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer because it was like nostalgia, and that was like my show growing up. So with them bringing this back, I don't know if they're going to bring back the original cast, or which is basically you're probably going to have them. It seems like we're in this era of legacy sequels or reboots and that sort of thing. Like we have I Know What You Did Last Summer is currently shooting, where they have the legacy cast members coming back. Scream 7 just started shooting today. They literally started filming. Cameras are rolling out in Atlanta today for Scream 7. I know the Zionists and everybody's mad for or not even Zionists. Spyglass is being accused of being Zionist. But people are still starting, we got to boycott, all other mess. But so we're in this era of legacy people being attached to things with the possibility of spinning it off to the next generation. And I would love to see some of the original cast come back in Grimm to possibly spin it off and bring somebody interested in there. But if y'all can find something interesting to do with the original legacy cast members, then I'm here for it. So like they said, they're keeping it under wraps. No idea what who's going to be in it or what it's about. But as someone who is a Grimm fan, I will definitely be watching when the movie's done. It's probably like a backdoor pilot, the way they're explaining it. And then when it happens, I'll definitely be there on whenever we're gonna be able to see it, which like they said, is gonna be at Peacock. So that means I don't think it's gonna be on NBC, because I guess that what they're trying to do is attract people to subscribe to Peacock by creating these original shows. And Peacock got some pretty good, interesting, there's some pretty good stuff on there, like Day of the Jackal, which hence the joke from Nikki Glazer towards that show. That's a really good show. And look, it's getting a season 2. So definitely check that out, because Day of the Jackal with Eddie Redmayne and Lashana Lynch, it's a really good show. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out over at Peacock among their other programs. I usually have Peacock because I don't have Bravo, and I watch The Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's usually why I have it, among other things. They even had That Glen Powell movie, Twisters, that's how I was able to see that because I have Peacock, among other movies and stuff they have up on there. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are you a Grimm fan? Are you excited to hear that we're getting a Grimm reboot movie over at Peacock? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Robert says most people prefer Tubi but want free stuff. I mean, I like Tubi. The ads get on my nerves at times. The ads are, but funny, I pay for, it's funny how I pay for Peacock, which comes with ads, and the ads are way shorter than the ones you get on Tubi. But yeah, Tubi is actually pretty good. They have the one thing I like about Tubi is that they have a great list of old 80s slasher films, and that's one of the reasons why I watch it. Like they do some deep dive with the 80s slasher movies. So that's why I love Tubi, because of that reason. It's one of the biggest reasons it's also expensive is because of sports. Well, yeah, that seems to be the main thing with a lot of people, is that it's expensive because people want their sports, especially if you can live stream the sports. The new season of the Mayfair Witches started. Well, thank you for letting me know, because funnily enough, when I was talking to people about Mayfair Witches, and people would tell me, "Oh yeah, it's back," and I guess one of my friends was saying, "Oh, I guess I'll watch it because they're trying to cross it with oh my god, what's the name of that damn show with the Interview with a Vampire?" I was like, I don't care if they bring the stat up on there, he eating some dude's ass on that show. I'm not watching it. Number one, Mayfair Witches season 1 was god awful. I could not get into it. I was bored to death. I'm like, so when we gonna see them actually doing some power stuff? Like, I would rather watch the reboot of Charmed before I watch that mess again. And I couldn't stand that damn show when they did it. It would always be the Hollowell sisters. First of all, they was able to make that whole situation work with that. Then they tried to bring it on with these new cast of girls. Wasn't good at all, which is why they canceled it. And y'all were just Charmed the name only in the house. Y'all thought about putting all that up in there that was going to get people to watch. And the Mayfield Witches were boring. When I watched the show, I'm like, okay, 3 episodes, and y'all already know my rule when I watch the show. I mean, when I watch shows, I give you 3 episodes. If you're not getting my attention by the episode 3, I'm done. Sometimes it's like if I see any kind of a little bit of potential in them 3 episodes, I may push for a 4th. But if not, I usually just like, okay, I'm good. I'm not going back to it. But now you said, oh, now she's using her powers. Well, it shouldn't have had to take a whole season for you to all of a sudden want to use your magic. So with Mayfair Witches, I could care less about that show, but I do like Interview with a Vampire, and I'm looking forward to season 3. And whatever else shows that Christopher Rice wants to develop based off the back, the back catalog of his mother's books. But yeah, I couldn't get into that show. You say she a horrible actress, though. I was like, yeah. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's talk about The Matrix Part 5. So apparently there's been rumors floating around that Will Smith is set to star in The Matrix. Yeah, they're making a 5th one. I know after we saw the 4th one, the 4th one was god awful. I saw that was a one and done for me. I was like, ain't no way in hell I'm watching this damn movie after after that atrocity that was part 4. I still don't even know what the plot of that damn movie was. And y'all were able to bring Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss back, which was awesome, but they didn't do anything. Like, where was the fight sequences? Where was the action? What was the things that we loved about the original Matrix? It was missing from that last movie. And don't get me wrong, I love the original Matrix. That will be like one of my all-time favorite movies. I remember like the philosophy and all the other stuff that was going up in there. I just love the original film. The original movie was perfect. Then we got The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions. I like the action in The Matrix Reloaded. It was a little too heavy-handed in regards to the philosophy and the spirituality and all that other stuff, and then the Superman godlike stuff that y'all were trying to throw up in there. It was a little, like I said, the movie was a little heavy-handed. Although I did like a lot of the action scenes. I loved like there was more martial arts. Wu Ping definitely did his thing and like up in the ante in regards to the action, the wire fu, all that other stuff. And it's funny how we had Will Smith up in here when, fun fact, Will Smith was originally supposed to play Neo back in the day before he passed. I also believe I heard Brad Pitt was approached to play Neo. He passed too, but look, Now it's like we got Keanu Reeves. I don't think any of us can see beyond Keanu playing Neo, and so now he's synonymous with that part. And there were so many other people. Remember, Janet Jackson was supposed to play Trinity at one point. I think Madonna said she was even up for the role. They went through everybody before they wound up getting who they got. But here's the thing: it's like Carrie-Anne Moss. I can't see nobody besides her playing Trinity. Just like I can't see nobody else but Keanu playing Neo. So there's been rumors going around because he posted the following on his Instagram. He posted this. That the Matrix has you and all this other stuff. So he went and posted that on his IG, which basically left people wondering, is Will Smith supposed to play, is he going to be in the new Matrix movie? Because there was a story that came out, I believe, last year that they were developing another Matrix movie. So the Instagram post featuring Matrix-style computer fonts stated, in 1997, the Wachowskis offered Will Smith the role of Neo in The Matrix. Smith turned it down. He chose, and I know he's regretting it, Wild Wild West, believing it was a better fit for him at the time. But the question remains, what would The Matrix have been like with Will Smith as Neo? Wake up, Will, The Matrix has you. Now, The Matrix, went on to be a generation-defining hit, while Barry's Sonnenfeld's Wild Wild West was beaten up by critics and flopped at the box office, which I think that was the movie that killed Big Willie Weekend. Because back in the day, there used to be a thing called Big Willie Weekend, where every time, because of the success of Independence Day, Will Smith's weekend was literally July 4th. Anytime a movie came out July 4th weekend, that was literally solidified as a Will Smith movie release date. And so he was releasing all these films, and it was relatively doing well around that time until he decided, I guess that ego got out of damn control, and then he went off and did The Wild Wild West, which turned out to be a flop. And shout out to Salma Hayek, because she was in that damn movie too. Okay, so now Goddard, the writer-director behind The Martian, The Cabin in the Woods, and World War Z, was tapped to write and direct the new Matrix feature for Warner Brothers last year. This will be the first Matrix film not directed by a Wachowski sibling, though Lana Wachowski will act as an executive producer on the new project. Now, I'm actually glad that the Wachowskis have stepped down and are not partaking in the Matrix stuff, and Drew Goddard, I believe is who the name is, because I don't see that the name was in there. But anyway, I actually like the fact that we have a new person coming in with a new idea. Hopefully it doesn't suck. Hopefully you do have an interesting idea. And I feel like in the way our world is right now, this is the perfect time for a Matrix type of film, with some freedom fighters going against the corporate establishments, and how a lot of times we still use references of the Matrix and that sort of thing. I always say that now when I use a lot of references on this show. I'm like, I don't live in the Matrix, I live in the real world. And the real world would be like me not living in the computer world. So a lot of people live their life in the internet and creating these bots or whatever the case is, not being their true authentic selves and living through all that stuff. So there's people who live that whole situation like that. But some people was commenting, they was like, love you, Will, but I can't unsee Keanu Reeves. Another person commented, if y'all do Keanu and Will in the same movie, that will be record-breaking crazy. And look, why can't we have different iterations of Neo? We've had different iterations of Neo. Remember, here's the Neo that we saw in the Matrix movies. Wasn't he like the sixth iteration of Neo? So it was like we've had many more Neos before him. So I'm hoping that maybe of sorts they could do, I don't know, should they do a prequel? I mean, we got prequels of the Animatrix. We got a sort of an explanation of how the Matrix happened. I do like the Animatrix. I have the whole box set of where they had like all the discs and stuff, where they had the Animatrix and they had all these different things behind the scenes, the making of. Like, I was so deep within the whole, like, I was a Matrix disciple when that movie came out back in the day, where I was so caught up in everything and I wanted to know and have so much of everything about the Matrix and my fingertips. So I even bought like the huge box set where they had all the discs and you got all the behind the scenes and everything in the Animatrix. And I did like some of those short films that they had. So I do like that. Like I said, that there's going to be, that they're not going to be fully involved, but they will be a part of it, as in the Wachowskis. So now, really, it's funny enough, I can't believe that The Matrix actually came out 25 years ago. or a little over it now, because it was 1999. So, it is, I think it'll be 26 years this year. The Matrix swept the imaginations of audiences with a mind-bending story, envelope-pushing special effects, and a defining performance from Keanu Reeves. The movie grossed 467 million worldwide at the time, became a pop culture touchstone. The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions were released back-to-back in 2003 to extend the film franchise, with The Matrix Resurrections arriving in 2021. Now, Smith, rose to fame as a rapper and star of the 90s sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and became one of the world's biggest movie stars, doing films such as Independence Day, which was released in 1996, and Men in Black in 1997. He landed a hit last year with co-star Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys Ride or Die, which aimed in part to jumpstart Smith's movie career after, the scandal that he had with the Oscar slap and that sort of thing. Well, here's the thing. We done moved on from that. Well, at least I'll speak for myself. I moved on from Will Smith and the slapation. And I feel like at this point, can we all move on from that too? And now what I want to see Will Smith in a Matrix movie. Well, look, we had the closest thing. We had Jada. We had Jada Pinkett Smith in The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions. Although I was a little upset because I felt like she was wasted in those films. And I think it was because they utilized her more in the video game. Yeah, I even had that. I had the video game too, and I played it, where it was Niobe and Ghost was going on missions and all the other stuff. So that was cool that y'all got to use her for that. And I think at the time they were trying to do like the whole digital technology thing where it was like where they incorporated like actual them acting out and doing the fight stuff. And then they imprinted it in the video game, which was groundbreaking at the time. Now you see like all the video games pretty much do that. So I would have liked to have seen her utilized more in the movies, where we could have seen her do more of some fight stuff instead of that little 2-second fight sequence that we see, that blink and you miss it. Like I said, 2-second fight scene that she had during like this little montage of Morpheus's speech. So I was a little irritated. I'm like, damn, that's the only thing we getting to see of her beating up a security guard, and that's it. Like, I wanted to see Jada, in more stuff, because I was a big Jada fan back in the day, before all the polarizing stuff that she started doing now, where she's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way with the entanglements and the book and all the other stuff that she's done. I was a big Jada Pinkett fan back in the day. Like, I loved her on A Different World. I loved her in Demon Knight. That is like one of my favorite movies. I would have loved to have seen them spin that off into something. Because I was like, Demon Knight, Tales from the Crypt, that was a good damn movie. And I like and I always felt like they should have really explored that lore as well. So hopefully somebody does that down the road. But as far as like Will Smith in The Matrix 5, I feel like he's had his chance. I would have loved to have seen him in that, but I feel like it's time to move on to a different Neo or whatever idea that they have. I'm open for it. It's because they need to reboot the franchise. I don't think Keanu Reeves will come back. Keanu Reeves already talked about his knees bothering him from doing John Wick, so he don't even know if he's going to come back and do another one. So if y'all expecting him to do all that crazy wire food stuff in a new Matrix movie, that ain't happening. Because, like I said, Keanu Reeves already bitching and moaning about his knees bothering him from doing all them years of wear and tear from doing John Wick. And y'all know he stays doing the action. And he's a man of a certain age. He's in his 60s. So he can't be able to do the things that he used to do back when he was doing the Matrix, which was what? He was in his 30s at the time. So I say all this, say, what do y'all think of this story? Because now they're saying that I don't even think I even got to the point. So there were rumors going around that, because I got caught up in the Matrix bag. The actual thing is, no, he is not going to appear in a Matrix movie. I guess, was just trying to tease or play around and all this stuff. But the whole moral of the story is, he's not going to be in the Matrix. But I ask all of you, would you like to have seen Will Smith in a Matrix movie? I think, like, you know what? You had your opportunity and you passed on it. So we'll just have to imagine a world in another iteration of the Matrix that Will Smith was Neo in the world being a freedom fighter. So I ask all of you, what do you think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I'm glad you asked that question, because you know what? I literally forgot. It was like, yeah, what the hell did happen to I Am Legend 2? There was a story that was going around with him and Michael B. Jordan was supposed to be in I Am Legend Part 2. Haven't heard anything about it. I was like, what the hell's going on with that? Because I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea that I would love to see him be in that. And a lot of people was like, well, how they gonna bring him back? He died. The loophole is there's an alternate ending, and I have the version with the alternate ending where he actually didn't die. In the theatrical version, he sacrificed himself, blew up, whatever, passed everything off to Elisa Braga and the little boy that she was with, and they wound up going to this little town, whatever, and then they had like the cure. Then there's a different version where he survives. So they're gonna go with that. And I was like, okay, I'm here for it. But look, if y'all gonna do I Am Legend 2, y'all gotta be able to find a way to differentiate yourselves from what we've already seen. We already got The Last of Us, the new season. They already announced it yesterday. It's coming out in April, season 2. And then we have when does 28 years later come out? That's like in the summer. So that's coming out. Then we have The Walking Dead and all their horrible iterations. First of all, The Walking Dead, y'all need to hang that up. There's only one show out of all the Walking Dead spinoffs I like, and that's the one with Daryl and Carol. That's the only one I watch. All the other ones I try watching, they're just not as good. Even the one y'all did with Rick and Michonne, I was so disappointed in that. But the Daryl and Carol one, I just feel like they could go on to do that until they like 89 years old. That's how good that show is. But all the other spinoffs that they've done, I don't care about Negan and Maggie and that whole situation. I just don't understand how she hobnobbed around with the man that bashed her damn husband's brain in with Lucille. I just don't get it. But whatever. But yeah, so we do need we need an update on that. That's what people should be asking. You know what? Damn, I should have opened up that Instagram. Hold on, is it there? Because I'm gonna be like, let me go message Will and be like, sir, what is going on with I Am Legend 2? Yeah, I still got his Instagram. Hold on. Oh, they said comments on this post have been limited. Why the hell you going limited? Don't be limiting it, so I can't even respond to the damn Instagram post. So it's like, yeah, that sucks. Because I'm like, yeah, what's going on with I Am Legend 2, sir? The Wachowskis need to wake up to the fact that The Matrix is not Marvel. We don't need 20 of them. Well, I guess the thing with Marvel is that they have so many things that they can choose from. Like Marvel is just one big umbrella where they can go on and they can pull from different resources and tell so many different stories. So y'all could do, well, I was gonna say they could do an Incredible Hulk. Actually, they can't because they don't own the rights. They have to borrow it. Don't Universal still own the rights to the Hulk? That's why they don't really get to really go in. And so it's like whatever thing, comic book, whatever that they have access to, they can always pull and give them potential shows or movies or whatever the case is. But in regards of the Matrix, yeah, I'm open if they got a different idea, if they can reboot the franchise, and I'm here for it. But to me, I always felt like the first Matrix, that could have just been a standalone movie. That whole first movie is so perfect in the way they put it together that we don't need a whole bunch of spinoffs. But I'm like, if you got a good idea, I'm here for it. They had some interesting ideas. I just felt like the pressure of the first Matrix being such a success that Reloaded and Revolutions was just too well. Reloaded was a little heavy-handed with all the other stuff. Revolutions, they spent way too much time in Zion, and I was sitting there like, is this what I got to look forward to living? I don't want to live in no damn Zion, all that grease. It don't look like it's an interesting place to live. Grease as in like all the oil from all the mechanical stuff in which they had to live in the, underneath the city. And it just didn't look all that visually appealing. So I was like, I don't know if I want to live here. I would rather just stay jacked into the Matrix. At least I have the illusion that I'm living, in a nice place and having this great life. Yes, happy Scream 7 Day, because they officially started shooting today. Although I did see a video. What was it? Killjoy Jake was like based off a recent interview or something or another that one of the casting people did, where he believes that they may have spilled who the damn killer is before the movie even started filming. And they feel like the killer might be Miss Girl from, damn, what the hell's her name? From Ghostbusters, not the black girl. The one that's supposed to be Sydney's daughter. The only one they have confirmation on who's being Sydney's daughter is the other actress that they called it. Mackenzie, I forgot her damn, McKenna Grace, that was her name. So they feel like McKenna Grace is probably the killer because in a previous film, she has played kind of like this both-sided situation where she comes across as innocent, but she really like Rhoda from the bad seed. So they feel like there might be a twist with that. I said, that might be interesting. Sydney got to kill her own damn evil ass child. Can you imagine that's the twist that they go? It's like, yeah, bitch, you get on my damn. I gotta kill one child to save the other. That'd be like the twist. Remember they did that in The Good Son. I love that movie too. The Good Son with Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood, and she had to kill her own damn child to save Elijah Wood because she only had two arms. One was holding one arm, one was holding the other. I'm surprised they didn't dislocate as heavy as them kids was, and she had to let his ass go, and he died and got hit, smashed into the cliffs and drowned within all that water. But I was like, yeah, I would have saved Elijah Wood too, because that little boy was evil. But shout out to Macaulay Culkin because he did his damn thing in that movie. We were so used to him being Kevin McAllister, but him playing an evil ass little boy, I was here for it. But anyway, let's move on. And let's talk about Britney Spears. So we have an update on the new Britney Spears biopic that's supposed to be coming up called The Woman in Me, which is based on her memoir. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, John M. Chu is directing it, as you can see in the banner. John M. Chu recently directed Wicked, Part 1 and Part 2. So he's giving us an update on what we can expect from the upcoming biopic. So shout out to EW for the news. They said the iconic pop star's best-selling 2023 memoir, The Woman in Me, is being developed, as we all know, as a biopic film by Universal, with Wicked director John M. Chu in charge of the project. Though Chu hasn't gotten too deep into the project yet, he did say that Spears will be part of the filmmaking process, because I know a lot of people were wondering, like, how involved is Britney going to be? Is she just going to be a producer in name only, and they're pretty much going to be doing whatever, but she's going to be coming in? And you know what? I'm going to save it for after I read this article. He said she's going to be involved. This is what he told ET as an Entertainment Tonight on the red carpet ahead of Sunday night's Golden Globe ceremony. Saying, I haven't really started anything fully yet, but she will be very involved in this. I have ideas and things, an approach, but it's very early. Now, naturally, the news that a Spears biopic was in development has had the internet swirling with potential casting rumors. We at EW have suggested Sydney Sweeney, Addison Rae, and Dove Cameron as potential candidates, while others on the internet favor current pop star Sabrina Carpenter. In all likelihood, all other famous people like Spears' former boyfriend Justin Timberlake or pop rival Christina Aguilera will also be characters in the movie, which prompts further casting speculation. But you said that any of those decisions are still some time away. You want to know something? I'm sorry, but I do not say. I know they want to do Dove Cameron, Addison Rae, Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney's already busy. She's playing some type of athlete or something in the movie. If people was talking about her body or whatever the case was. Dove Cameron, I'm like, girl, where's she been? The last time I seen her, something was on an episode of judging RuPaul's Drag Race. And then I don't see Addison Rae. I see Tate McRae though. I don't know if she can act. Has she ever acted in anything? I was kind of thinking Tate McRae based off of like her dancing ability, and she has taken elements of Britney Spears' dancing style and kind of incorporated it into her own. But if she can't act, I'm like, no, maybe I need to go with an unknown, somebody who's an actor, but also is like a dancer. You don't have to really be up in there and sing. You could just lip sync to Britney's, vocals. You don't necessarily need to take singing, but if you are a singer, that's a plus. But you know what? At the end of the day, because John M. Chu did Wicked and so many other projects, I trust in his vision that they know what they're doing. I'm sure they'll probably have like a big. Can you imagine if they did an open casting call? That would be crazy. The amount of people that would come out and do like an American Idol style of casting call to see who they pick. And funny enough, the way they're talking about this, like, oh yeah, she'll be very involved and that sort of thing. This is what I wish Madonna would do with her biopic. But she's such a damn control freak that this thing will probably never get made because of how she tries to steamroll over people. And don't get me wrong, I'm all here for, you know what, people should have a right to feel how they feel in regards of how their story is told. But if you don't have an error, if this is not your area of expertise, then you need to, and yes, I know Madonna has directed and all that other stuff in the past. The problem is the projects that she's directed, nobody cared. How many of y'all went to go see WE, as I call whatever? Because, I mean, I forget what it's about. Wallace Simpson or some other. Nobody cared about the movies Madonna was directing behind the wheel. And no shade, she is no, as much as she. I don't want to hit Madonna with the straight, but I love her. But I gotta be honest. Girl, you are not Guy Ritchie in regards of you can get butts and seats. Now, don't get me wrong, Guy Ritchie as of late has not been able to get butts and seats for his movies, but he is a well-respected filmmaker. That's not your area of expertise. You are a pop icon. So therefore, the music thing you got on lock. The licensing of the music that and being a consultant and being involved in the film, I kind of wish Madonna would do that, like Britney's doing. But because she's such a damn egomaniac and a control freak, I just can't see her giving that much control to a auteur like a John M. Chu or even an Antoine Fuqua, who, directed the Michael biopic, or someone in that range. I don't do Brett Ratner. He was supposed to do the Mariah Carey one, although there is rumors that Lee Daniels is doing the Mariah Carey one. But now Brett Ratner allegedly is supposed to be doing a documentary on Melania Trump. Unless it's about international sex trafficking and Melania Trump is involved in it because she's a mail order whore, I don't care to watch it. Because what else are going to have? What of interest does she have that you want to see her in documentary form? Because none of y'all read her damn book, which Quiet as It's Kept should have been a damn pamphlet. Now, in regards to the whole situation, Chu said that any of the decisions, they said we're still a while away from them doing the whole casting thing. So he said, I've seen all fan castings and I always take those into consideration because maybe there's a good idea out there. But we will have to see what the approach of the movie is before we know who's right for it. Because people have to realize when you read a book or listen to it, if you're an audible person, you have to realize that the way that things are in a book has to be translated a different way when you're watching it on the screen. So we don't necessarily know what the overall tone is going to be for the biopic. And based off the tone and how they come up with the script and what they're going to pull from in the book and what they're not, because everything ain't going to make the damn screen. But I do, child, I know, but I'm assuming, I can't say I know because I don't. I'm assuming it's going to be heavily on the Justin Timberlake stuff. So we got to see what the overall tone of the film is going to be before they can even decide to figure out, okay, who we're going to cast based on whichever direction, the avenue they're going to go down. Because I'm sure they're going to go down they're going to cover her humble beginnings in Kentwood, Louisiana. They're going to, with her being a singer, dancer, maybe they'll even explore the Mickey Mouse Club era, her signing the recording deal and becoming a big pop star. And then also her encountering Justin, even though they met on the set of the Mickey Mouse Club, how their relationship started, the abortion, that sort of thing, her getting pregnant, as I said, the abortion, and what that period was like and how Justin behaved during that time. We read that in the book, so we know basically how he came across when that happened. Then, the solo career, the conservatorship, the partying, the mental decline, the custody battle with Kevin Federline, which I'm hoping her speaking on this doesn't affect her relationship with her son. Because I don't know any other kids. I don't know about Sean Preston. I don't know if he's been hanging around with Britney, but we know about her and Jaden because she's posted stuff about him on social media. So I should say, look, I trust in John M. Chu. Wicked so far has grossed over $500 million, a little over, I should say, worldwide success, total $600 million. I did speak on this yesterday. I do feel like that financially, the film has taken a hit because it's available on digital. Like you can rent it or buy it. So I do feel like financially it has been hurt a little bit, but so far it has grossed over $500 million, $600 million to be exact. And he also said this. He said, I'm a big fan of Britney. I've been a fan since I was young, and she was young, and she was one of 12 acts at the Shrine Auditorium. This is what he said. Then he says, so I want to do her justice and tell her story right, but we'll see. We're developing it now, and it's a long road ahead. After all, Britney is 43, but she's been through a lot. The Woman in Me, covers not just her pop stardom, but also her complicated childhood, her breakthrough role in the Mickey Mouse Club, and her 13-year-old conservatorship. And it's funny how I was saying all this off the top of my head because I didn't read the article. I'm reading it as I'm going through it. And they're talking about all the things that I was just saying because I read the book. And I like what I read in the book. I gagged over some of the stuff that she was talking about. So I'm really hoping that all this is explored. We are in an era of biopics right now, where we got a complete unknown with Timothy Chalamet playing Bob Dylan. We have a biopic coming out based off of Bruce Springsteen with um oh my God, what the hell is his name? Jeremy Allen White is playing Bruce Springsteen. We got the Michael Jackson biopic coming out later this year with Jafar Jackson, Michael's nephew, playing Michael Jackson, and Coleman Domingo playing Joe Jackson, and Neil Long playing Catherine Jackson. And sidebar, shout out to Michael's daughter, Paris Jackson, who I did not know was recovering from a heroin addiction. She revealed that recently that she's been sober 5 years from alcohol and heroin addiction. I was like, when was this going down? And I know she's engaged right now to, I think, one of her bandmates. So shout out to her. So yeah, we're in an era of biopics right now. So we have all these biopics coming out, and one of the main biopics I will have to say is I'm definitely looking forward to the Britney biopic. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to the latest update on John M. Chu speaking out on the Britney biopic and what he said that we got in store? It's still in the early stages. They're still trying to figure out what they're going to be doing over there with the biopic, but I'm really interested in seeing this movie. And we did discuss this last year on who, going through the list of who should play Britney and Justin and Christina and all that stuff. If y'all have any new ideas of who y'all would like to see play Britney and Christina and Justin and her parents and Jamie Lynn, if she even gets a shout out in this damn movie, okay, Fed, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. We got a lot of comments on Miss Britney. Hold on. Um, One Life Man says Snoop and Diddy killed Tupac and Biggie. They both know it's good for the future of Snoop and Diddy. Um, Look, I've heard stories about Tupac possibly, Diddy having something to do with all of that. Um, I was gonna say I'm not going there, but look, we've been there before, so we'll just see how all if he ever gets accused, called out on it. Hasn't even Suge Knight brought something or another like that up? I'm trying to remember. I wonder if the biopic will have an awards campaign considering Britney's place in the industry. Meaning what? That is the possibility of it being nominated, like the film getting Oscar nominations, kind of like what the Michael Jackson people are trying to do with this upcoming Michael film, that they purposely moved it. Because remember, it was supposed to come out earlier this year. They moved it to October so that way it could be a contender for the Oscar race. So if it's good enough, I could definitely see them possibly wanting to push it for the possibility of an Oscar or an Oscar win or wins. Because look, it happened with Bohemian Rhapsody. Y'all already know I don't particularly care for that movie, but it won a bunch of Oscars, especially for Rami Malek, who played Freddie Mercury. So we'll see. Robert says, "Watch Tate McRae get it." But we'll see. I don't know if she can act though. I'm not familiar with. Like, I just recently became familiar with Tate McRae because I've seen videos of her, and then also me working Jingle Ball and seeing her perform. So I'm not really that versed in what Tate McRae's talents are, besides her being a pop star and doing different iterations of her music career before she finally settled on being a dancing pop star. I hope Millie Bobby Brown gets it. I don't want a pop star to get it, especially one that copies her so much. I could definitely see that. But look, if these stories out here about Millie Bobby Brown being difficult to work with on set, I don't think John M. Chu wants to deal with that kind of headache. So I wouldn't mind them going with an unknown if they can find it. Look, these days we need to find like untapped talent instead of just giving it to familiar names. But if there is a regular talent that's able to pull it off and playing Britney, we'll see. I'm like, I don't even know. Can Millie Bobby Brown dance? I've never really seen her dance. It's all because a Madonna film was being made without her prior approval, but people were interested in the unauthorized story. But now that she's what's THM? Oh, you said it, but now that she's involved, people were interested. So they want the unauthorized version instead of the authorized version. That won't get made unless she finances it herself. You don't want her to do the Hennifer. Remember, Hennifer went and self-financed This Is Me Now, and none of y'all cared. I can't believe I sat through that mess. But I was curious. I was inquisitive. That's the only reason why I watched. I was like, let me see what this is. And just that bad CGI and everything up in there, I'm like, the hell? And I still feel like at the end of the day, watching it, I didn't really get a sense of who Jennifer Lopez was or is. But now that oh yeah, I read that already. She said Britney Spears said no to Millie Bobby. Oh, did she? Yeah, I can't see Millie Bobby Brown doing that. Like I said, if they could find a way to get an unknown, like somebody, that was like what we used to do back in the day. Like you had casting calls of people and you had to be a triple threat, a singer, dancer, actress, that sort of thing. And they got the opportunity to have their shot. Why can't we go back to doing that? I'm sure there's a kid out there who lives with Britney Spears, who grew up watching her, who basically is a singer as well as a dancer and an actress. Put them on. I'm sure there's a girl that can capture the essence. And I'm not saying you got to look like them because I've never been for somebody who looks like somebody. Angela Bassett captured the essence of Tina Turner. Didn't really look nothing like Tina, but she captured the essence and we bought into it. It said Robert Price, she doesn't have any power in the film industry and the film industry doesn't like her. Yeah, she doesn't really have power now. She has power in the music business, but as far as like the film as the biopic goes, I really feel like she has to be a team player in that. And that's why I agree with Matthias who says finance it yourself. And she should. Like that would be a huge gamble if she was to put up. Well, she wants $100 million. To put up $100 million of her own money. I can't see her doing that. But yeah, I feel like the only way that movie's gonna get made is if she self finances it. Or, you know what? Unfortunately, she's gonna have to pass away. And that's the only way that movie's gonna get made. It said then Madonna needs to just kill the biopic because she doesn't want men involved, and we all know that's not gonna happen. Okay, because I'm like, men in what capacity? Because you say like you want all women on this film, so you want a female. Well, I can understand a female writer coming in because she was only working with female writers on the script. Diablo Cody was the first who she worked with in the beginning, and then she worked with another female writer. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, and then she wants to go in and direct her herself. I'm like, no. Don't do it, Neeks. No, don't direct your own movie. I can't see you doing it. Because, like I said, how many of y'all went out and seen any of Madonna's self-directed projects? Do you know something that we know? Because it sounds like you got to. And it said, and he said, one if there will be cameos. Are you talking about in the Britney Spears biopic? Like who? Oh, they could get. I was like, y'all can get Madonna to appear, but then no. I say do Julia Garner as Madonna to in the film. That would be so funny if they did that because Julia Garner is supposed to play Madonna in the biopic. So I do want that would be interesting if they had cameos, or you can get the real Madonna to make an appearance. Who could play Britney? Derek from. Ah, that's funny. Not Derek Barry. Oh my God, there was a read that what was that? Was that from the pit stop where they were trying to make a joke about Jewel Sparkles looking a little too much like Ariana Grande? And then Raven made threw a little shady comment about Derek from Drag Race doing Britney. You said Sydney Sweeney. I mean, they did kind of make it look like Britney had big boobs back in the day. So that would work. But I'm like, can Sydney dance? Acting agencies are obsessed with pretty faces that are willing to move to WeHo. They offered Chapel Roan a movie role despite having no prior experiences as an actor. And she turned it down. She was like, I'm not, she was like, acting is not, I guess, something she wanted to get into. Yeah, that was the story that we did a couple of weeks ago where we was talking about it, that the story behind why Madonna went to this little, Instagram rant was talking about that, I'm going to do things my way. And the story was, and it was according to the Daily Mail. So I guess we could take it with a grain of salt. They said that the reason why is because she won $100 million. Now, mind you, and I was like, I didn't see nothing wrong with giving it to her. At first, I was gonna be like, y'all can make the movie for less, but then I heard that the movie for the Michael Jackson film almost cost them $200 million, and I'm like, wait a minute, if y'all can give Antoine Fuqua all this money allegedly to make a Michael Jackson biopic, then why you can't give and he's supposed to be the king of pop? Why can't you get a queen of pop $100 million? Because I'm like, it's going to cost that much, I guess, to make her film, because you gotta, how are we going to make the New York look like 80s New York? Because, she came here in 78 and she didn't pop until her career was like, what, 1983, 84? So it took a couple of years, as it usually does artists, to make it big. And in order to make certain looks and things happen, you're going to have to put in a little money. And then the wardrobe department, like, they can always go through her archive of costumes and replicate it. So, Raymond said, because there's nothing she could do. But oh yeah, you remember. I said that's what it was on the pit stop. Raymond made a little shady comment about Derek. I mean, quiet as it's kept, there isn't much that Derek could do outside of being Britney. They tried many a time to see if she could do something outside of impersonating Britney on the show twice, and she couldn't do it. And I was kind of glad that she was eliminated a second time early in the season. Also, wasn't she the pork chop of that season? I think she wanted $100 million as herself. Can you imagine? I'd be like, no. First of all, if you did that, you'd be a damn fool. Especially if you talking about you want to direct your own damn biopic, then you basically want $100 million to pocket yourself. I know Matisse is making a joke, but I would have been like, yeah, $100 million doesn't sound bad, but you better. I was gonna say you better hope the movie will accumulate all that, and I truly believe it will, because Madonna has 4 decades of fans. Even the younger kids basically like her. Like, I saw a video yesterday, a girl who was reacting to Madonna's Confessions tour, and it was so funny watching like the younger generation. They were like, when she started doing the whole mashup of I Feel Love and why do I always forget the name of that damn song? And in evidence of its brilliance, when she was doing that, she was like, I heard that song before. Oh, Beyonce. I'm like, no, Donna Summer, not no damn Beyonce. Yes, Beyonce did it in the Renaissance tour. Future Lovers, thank you. I don't know why I always forget the name of that damn song. But it was like Future Lovers, I Feel Love. And she was like, oh yeah, Beyonce did that song. Is that a Madonna track? I damn near fell out my chair. I'm like, no, it's a Donna Summer track. But you can't expect a lot of people to know everything about music. That, yeah, Donna Summer was before my time, but I guess because it was like I grew up with Donna Summer and that sort of thing, and my mother playing that, because my father played like R&B and all that other stuff, like old school type of stuff, like the Temptations, Four Tops, Shy Lights, all of that type of stuff. What's his name? Barry White and all that other stuff. My mother was up in the house playing freestyle. She was playing, you know, Michael Jackson, Madonna, like she was playing all that stuff, and then Donna Summer. So that's where the fun music came from. It came from her, and then the soulful stuff came from him. You said basically basically be paid $100 million to make it. No wonder they didn't want to do it. But I'm like, $100 million, like that's not bad compared to what allegedly what they were charging. Like I said, what the budget is for Michael Jackson's biopic. Let's look that up again. Michael, because I want to get the Michael. It's funny how you got a biopic, type it with one hand, budget. Wait, why not put Sony? I don't even know that they're not behind the film. $150 million is the budget. Well, they said the budget for 2025 was 2026 actually. I mean, no, 2025. I'm bugging. They said the biopic is $155 million. That's exactly how much the budget is for the film. To make profit, the film would need to be one of the highest grossing musical biopics of all time. The studio expects the movie to make over $1 billion at the global box office. So Antoine Fuqua, who directed, Equalizer, Emancipation, and Southpaw, is directing the film. So the movie comes out October 3rd. The budget is $155 million, and if they can give the biopic for Michael Jackson $55 million more than what Madonna's asking for, then why not give her $100 million for this biopic? But I feel like it should have been like, okay, well, the deal is you can come on and be heavily involved. However, we need somebody who understands how to direct biopics, to come in and do it. And we've already said this. We don't want a biopic. We want a series because I feel like there's way more to Madonna, especially with her 4 decades in the business, than Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson can get a 2.5 hour movie and you can cover all the bases with him because he wasn't really in the news as much as Madonna is, especially with all the different eras and all the things that she was doing. With Michael Jackson, there's only a couple things we could talk about. We could talk about his childhood with his abusive ass father and the alleged cheating that was going on with Joe Jackson on Catherine, which they pretty much covered in Michael Jackson, the VH1 biopic, the series that they had, which I've seen like a million times. Then you would have just talked about him with the Jackson 5, him going solo, the accident where he got burned on set, the alleged bleaching of the skin, the SA child, the CP, well, not CP, because that's Roswell Corn, the child molestation allegations and all the other stuff that's coming out of that. And, you know, him having his children, like there's not so much ground you can cover with Michael Jackson. And then the weirdness, all the bizarre little things that he was doing in the tabloid, sleeping in the gas chamber and all that. Remember that? And you could bring up Bubbles if you want. So there's not but so much ground you can cover. Madonna is like, there's a lot going on, but like I said, yeah, I agree. Madonna isn't a team player. So that's why I was like, that's why this film's going to suffer. Oh, yeah, we read that. Future lovers. She's treating the film industry like she's used to 150 million recording industry contracts. And yeah, the way they do contracts in Hollywood is not the same how they do it in the record industry. So they're going to tell you, and rightfully so, no shade. And I live for Madonna. They're going to say, you could take that offer and shove it up your ass. Because we're not playing with you with this. We're not just going to give you money based. You're not going to come in here and start demanding all this stuff. So basically, because she's proven herself as a musician, which is why she could ask for whatever she's asked for. She hasn't proven herself as an actress. You've done a couple of things that, yeah, they were hit, but for the most part, people are like, your weakness is your acting. Same thing with Beyonce. They're like, girl, stick to the music. Acting is not your forte. And that's what some people, everybody can't do everything, and that's fine. So I'll be like, yeah, do it yourself. Maybe bring the deal to Netflix. Netflix apparently is giving out money like it's tchotchkes and don't give a damn whether or not it does well in a theater. Go to Netflix. They'll probably just back up the Brinks truck and give you whatever and make a little 8-episode mini series or whatever, limited series, and then give you what you want. They do that with everything else. They're all about quantity than quality over there at Netflix. They don't give a damn about whether or not stuff is good. They just want to overstuff us with as much projects as possible. Then she should put it on Netflix to have it do very well and finesse the deal to get a shitload of money on the back end. That's what I would do. Madonna also should make a movie as half drama, half musical, more bang for your buck. Didn't we say that before, that there should be kind of like a mashup of like part musical? I could have sworn that somebody did kind of hit on that. Maybe they should do that. Madonna isn't a team player. That's why she's refusing to give a little power to men. It's hurting her. We all know that in the music industry, she and females run it. Where it's different in Hollywood. Let her find her gay male director then. Who's a homosexual that could direct this movie? I can't think of nobody. Adam Shankman? Didn't he do Hairspray? So we got Adam Shankman up in here. I don't know, that name just popped in my head. But anyway, let's move on. Speaking of homosexuals, let's talk about Luther. I was gonna say Luther, but I was like, no, I just want to be funny. Let's talk about Luther Vandross. So apparently, the people out here, well, there was a documentary that appeared about Luther Vandross on CNN called Luther Never Too Much. And it came out on New Year's Day. Now, first of all, I haven't seen the documentary, so I don't know what's going on up in there, but I did see this thing floating around. I was like, okay, let's talk about it, because I do remember some of the other things in the past. So apparently I did see the clip online of some people on Luther's team who were upset with Patti LaBelle for outing Luther. Because once upon a time, I think it was a couple of years ago, I think it was 2017, she went on, or maybe it might have been sooner than that. She went on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy Cohen, messy ass, decided to go up in there and ask her a question about Luther. And she answered it, and people was up in here talking about how she outing Luther on his show. And I'm like, Luther was straight? Like, in what alternate universe or in what multiverse in the MCU was y'all out here thinking that Luther Vandross like pussy? I'll wait. Because I don't think any of y'all was believing that. But the reality is a lot of y'all will sit up in here and look the other way as long as people are not out and flaunting, as some of y'all will put it, their sexuality. But y'all had to know Luther was into the peen. Y'all cannot be sitting up in here and thinking that Luther was into the cootie cat, because he wasn't. And you could definitely look at, there's some out here that just be obvious with the homosexualness. So, according to Page Six, they said there's anger and heartbreak in Patti LaBelle's camp after she was painted as a villain in a movie about one of her dearest friends, according to the report. Now, LaBelle and Luther Vandross have been friends for decades, and the Lady Marmalade singer was even close with his family and helped to take care of Vandross till the end. But when the CNN doc Luther Never Too Much, which aired on New Year's Day, was completed, LaBelle's insiders were horrified to find that she'd been solely framed as one of the people who gossiped publicly about his sexuality, which he was notoriously private about. Yeah, because some people would, I remember the story that would come out that whenever Luther would gain weight, that he was heartbroken, and when he would lose weight, he was in love. That was always the rumor that came out about Luther back in the day. But then didn't he have a stroke? I think it was probably because he kept fluctuating with his weight that eventually all of that took a toll on his heart. So y'all can't be out here playing with y'all weight like this. So now they said LaBelle invited the documentary producers into her home and sat for an hour-long interview to share stories about her late friend, insiders tell Page Six. But they edited out her interview because she refused to sign release forms when producers denied her request to see the final cut. And I was about to come up on here and say, now, how y'all do a whole documentary on Luther, but didn't include Patti in it? So y'all gonna come up in here and say, like, oh, she did all of this mess, but you're not gonna go to her? Like, she's still alive. Y'all can go up to her and ask her questions about, why, about the whole outing and how she felt about that situation. But here's the thing. Now, why aren't y'all same one that's out here talking about y'all disappointed? Should we travel back a couple of years to when John Sally took his behind over there to Vlad TV and was asked the same damn question? Where's the outrage on that? You can go on YouTube right now or Google Schmoogle, or you can go on YouTube, type it in. John Sally has an interview with Vlad from Vlad TV, who's obsessed with the gays, apparently, because every time I turn around, Vlad TV always want to ask about trans folks and homosexuals. Why do you think he the only one that be giving Bussy Mad Ass a damn platform whenever he want to be up in here talking about the trans and the homosexuals? So John Sally was up in there talking about and said that Luther wanted to be out or whatever the case was, but couldn't. So people got to look at it at the times too. Like back in the day when Luther was popping, you couldn't be out the closet. We've talked about on this show many a story. Clay Aiken, as far as 2020, what was it, 2001, 2009, like in the whole, even in the 2000s, people were talking about like, yeah, when they came out of the closet, their careers was ruined. So you really think that somebody back in the 80s and the 90s was going to come out and say, yeah, I suck dick and still maintain a career? I know I hate having to be graphic at times with stuff, but look, sometimes you got to get graphic to get to the point. So that way y'all can understand the overall situation. So I totally understand that, but I think more people are upset because she went on Andy Cohen's messy ass show of all places to say all this. So when y'all gonna go in on Andy Cohen instead of sitting here blaming Patti LaBelle? He was the one that asked the question. But if she was going to be, if she would have came on and been like, well, that's up for him to ask. You need to ask him, or you need to ask his team. When y'all start doing that, that already pretty much sets forth that, okay, so he was gay then. Like when you try to feel like in a way that by not answering is an answer and it's a way to protect from the situation, it kind of isn't. It's kind of making it seem like it's like, I don't know. That should be the answer. I don't know. Ask them. What you should be doing, because I always hated that growing up. There was a lot of people that was always whispering, and my mother told me these stories years later, You know your son gonna be gay, right? Or you know, or I think your son is gay. Like, bitch, first of all, why are you in my motherfucking business when I'm a teenager growing up trying to figure my own shit out? Why are you sitting up here and saying this to my damn mother? Bitch, you need to be worrying about your BMI count. Well, she can't now, she dead. I'm talking about my mother's sister. So you need to be worrying about your BMI count instead of worrying about whether or not I'm putting penises in my mouth at my age, or if I'm gonna come out being a full-on bigot. That ain't none of your business. That's my business. And when I'm ready to come and spill my tea, I'll come and tell her. I ain't telling it to your nosy ass, but I'm gonna tell it when I tell it. But yeah, it was like, yeah, now that Luther's dead and he's not here to defend himself, of course, you know, Andy Cohen messy ass, because that tight ass queen need a damn moment. So yeah, you gonna come up in here and start asking all this mess. So they said to add more insult to injury, the film sets up the clip for an interview from Vandross's songwriting partner, Richard Marx, who says, one of the things that really pissed me off is there are people who have talked about his personal life, people who he considered friends. In the clip, Cohen asked LaBelle if Vandross struggled with coming out publicly, and she said, we talked about it. He did not want his mother to be upset, although she might have known, but he was going home. He wasn't going home. Sorry, he wasn't going to come out and say this to the world. And he doesn't have to. That's none of their damn business. But I understand that what that's like, especially, you know, when you are a black person or black man or man of color, and you coming up in the church, whatever the case is, where they tell you that being gay is wrong, it's abomination, you're going to hell. And then a lot of us, I'll even speak for myself, are so worried about disappointing your family or certain members because of the way you've been taught growing up that homosexuality is bad. But I've denounced organized religion, so I don't get caught up in that foolishness. My thing with me is live and let live. I live a more spiritual life. I don't do the whole church thing where y'all want to sit up here and talk about people, you know, all these things about people, and you need to repent and all this other mess. Where y'all be doing things 10 times fucking worse than those out here living our life. And sometimes they don't really be going in on the people on the pulpit. Well, not the pulpit, the ones that be in the bands and all that other stuff, because you need their ass to give y'all the Holy Ghost. So you're not going to go on the singers and stuff. Then it also, you know, included touching footage in the film of LaBelle performing with her peers at his funeral in 2005. They also said the doc closed a romantic chapter on his life with an interview with Vandross in his own words, saying, questions about my sexuality, well, I suppose, will just always be questions. Let me tell you who I owe answers to. What I owe you is my music, my talent, my best effort. That's all. I will neither deny or confirm that any such rumors about personal things like that are true or untrue. I won't give the satisfaction of a denial because that is my submission of sort. I won't even address it. I'll just say, mind your fucking business. That's my response to that. You want to know something, sir? I agree with you. Up in the heavens is none of your damn business. Now, they said during the screening of the doc at the Tribeca Film Festival last year, the Watch What Happens live clip solicited boos from the crowd. Sources believe they set LaBelle up and used her as a villain when she supported him up to the very end. Now, here's the thing. Were they booing because it was Patti LaBelle's answer, or were they booing because quiet as it's kept, majority of the people don't like Andy damn Cohen? Like, I'll be watching stuff online and people be commenting a lot of Andy Cohen is insufferable. Even down to most recently when they had the New Year's thing that he does every year with that uptight ass queen, Anderson Cooper. The people was up in there talking about they can't stand Andy. He's annoying. He's insufferable. He is. He makes my teeth itch. That's why I can't deal when he works my root canal nerve. That's how much I do not like Andy Cohen. And I've seen him a couple of times out and about. He irritates my entire spirit. So I can't deal with that old tired ass queen. But that's what he does. He's messy. And that's what his show is built on, mess. So I don't like the idea of people trying to use Patti LaBelle, who is an icon in this music industry, as a scapegoat for y'all sitting up in here talking about, oh, she out here spilling Luther Vandross tea. First of all, why is it even being brought up in this documentary? Because in so many ways, y'all are doing the same damn thing you accusing Patti of. Well, y'all trying to throw all this other mess up in here. So, like I said, I don't like it. I was gonna watch the documentary, but because of this whole situation, I don't know how I feel. I don't even know if I want to watch it now because of this whole situation. And I love Luther. I grew up listening to his music. I told you it was played around the house when I was growing up. So I feel like at this point, I was like, I don't even want to give the satisfaction of wanting to watch this damn documentary because of this narrative y'all trying to throw all of on Patti. She ain't the only one that was out here always speculating. And if you really think the rest of us out here is delusional, we actually thought that Luther was a heterosexual. Like I had a conversation with my sister earlier, and she was like, "Luther's gay." She said, "Luther's not gay." I had to give her. I was like, "What? You guys be out your mind if you actually think that Luther wasn't a homosexual." I said, "Yeah, y'all the same ones that be delusional with the Luther and the sexual, just like y'all overlook all the stuff R. Kelly was doing with them girls because y'all like his music." One thing black folks know how to do is be in denial when it comes to certain things. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. So I say all the and sweeping shit under the rug when they don't want to deal with it. But I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to them trying to throw Patti under the bus regarding this whole thing over Luther Vandross? When I said John Sally did an interview a couple of years ago where he even addressed Luther's sexuality because he was asked by Vlad from Vlad TV. And then you got Andy Cohen, messy ass. When y'all going in on him the same way y'all going in on Patti? Y'all be so damn quick to always go after a black woman to blame her. And I hate having to make this about black versus white and stuff, but I just like, it just irritates me where y'all just be so quick to hang all of this off on Patti LaBelle, but y'all ain't, where's that energy for that old tired ass queen over there at Bravo? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said chop up her movie roles, copy and paste, make the biopic that way. No. You said she burned gay men and actors. Oh, you talking about Rupert Everett? I really don't know what Madonna can do, honestly, because we know she's a see you next Tuesday. Oh, look, I told her we used to call her Madudu whenever she would be, doing her, when she be on her BS. We all know her treatment to a few actors like Warren Beatty, so it has to be unauthorized or gone. But like I said, she won't be allowed when that movie happened. I don't play about Patti LaBelle. The producers were in the wrong for asking her questions to be in the documentary, but then not letting her see how she would be portrayed. And that's smart on her part. That was smart on her part that she basically was like, I need to see the footage before I sign off on anything. I need to see how y'all gonna portray me. The final edit and all the other stuff. Because what you're not gonna do is have me out here looking crazy. One thing I would love is that I would love to hear Patti speak on this. So hopefully if there's an opportunity if she ends up getting interviewed somewhere and they ask her about the biopic, that she'll speak on it. But you know, okay. Richard Simmons never came out. Exactly. And Paul Brumas, yeah, Pee Wee Herman. Yeah, remember when he got caught beating off in the movie theater? I wonder what kind of porn he was watching. Did they ever address what kind of porn that was? What did he have a meat popsicle in his mouth while he was watching it? And Hulk Hogan is getting booed, and it's not because of politics. Well, he need to be. We don't like Hulk Hogan. First of all, I was so irritated when he showed up at the Trump rally. He was there. And I told y'all the biggest cackle for me when he was trying to rip open his shirt and he was struggling to rip it open. I said, "Yeah, old man, you got all them damn muscles, probably from taking steroids, but you got no energy behind all the muscles you got in them arms." Luther didn't come out as gay because of his mama and his female fan base. He would have lost the sales. Exactly. It's like in those days, they knew like being gay was the end of your career. They still tell people that in Hollywood, even though it's not as bad as it was back then. But everybody knew, like in those days, coming out of the closet it would kill your career. He said it's no one's place for people to be speculating about his sexuality now that he's dead. Why not do it when he was alive? Not Shawn Mendes. Yeah, because he keep going back and forth. But Camilla got her new man already. I'm like, I'm glad she moved on. But girl, you better hope. I hope he's heterosexual. Okay, so now let's move on and let's get into this Diddy story because apparently there's a rumor going around that he's apparently jealous that Luigi Mangione is getting all the attention behind bars. Now, this is according to the tabloids. So, and that tabloid being the Daily Mail. So, as I say this, we could take it with a grain of salt, although I kind of believe it because how did he turn, his reputation and all that other stuff that's with him. But anyway, let's get into the story. So, the rapper 54 and Mangione, who's 26, are both awaiting trial at Brooklyn's infamous Metropolitan Center in New York. So is Austin Wolf. But we always, we got to always include him in there because they all in the same facility. And Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, is reportedly raging that an alleged killer is more beloved than he is among inmates. Now, Diddy has been throwing tantrums over the fact that Luigi is getting all the attention in prison and is being revered as a hero after literally, unaliving someone on camera. Well, here's the thing. Before we get into the rest of the story, Diddy, you are someone that's been accused of using your power to abuse people. Same thing as the CEO who Luigi allegedly unalived. You use your power and your influence as one of the CEOs or someone allegedly. We'll say all of this because we don't know if this story necessarily is true. This is from the Daily Mail. So we got to take it with, depending on some of the topics. I'm believing it, but I'm also side-eyeing it. Where you're worrying about Luigi, people look at him as a hero because they feel like we could all relate to the idea of someone in a powerful position taking advantage of the haves, taking advantage of the have-nots in so many ways. And I'm so sick and tired of getting up on situations, especially on social media, where people try to blanket statement the whole situation with Luigi. And I'm still getting it, and it's working my damn nerve. He's a murderer. Oh, he killed somebody. No shit, Sherlock. We know he killed somebody, allegedly. First, we ain't had the trial yet. So they got to prove that he was the one that was pulling the trigger. There's some people out here that don't believe they got the right man. Because they made comments about his unibrow or something or another. I don't want to get all into that. But there's some people out here who do not believe that they got the right man in custody. That's what them they have to deal with when his trial happens, whenever it happens. But Diddy is a different situation. This is someone that's out here talking about this documentary that's supposed to be coming out on Peacock is a lie. Nobody believes that because you said that what you did to Cassie was a lie until the video footage leaked and we seen you up in there mollywopping this girl in a damn hotel hallway. And then all these other accusations about abuse, and we all knew that you was weird over the years and all this other stuff. And I really feel like all this Diddy stuff started coming out until he started going against the white folks over there at Diageo. The people that was doing his little tequila brand. This is why 50 Cent said he got smart and went over with the black folks. He doing his, but he ain't doing the brands with these other people because he said it started out great in the beginning. And then when it's like, when you want to start owning things is when they start to take you down. This is a lot of people believe that this is the same thing that happened with Bill Cosby, that it was like, and I don't know if it was true that he tried to buy NBC, but they were like, oh, they was with it and they looked the other way when he was making them a whole lot of money. But the minute he started trying to come in and accumulate things, then all of a sudden, we got to take him down. This is how they felt about the Diddy thing. And we always said over the years that Diddy was I call him the devil, that he was always up to some shenanigans. He was always doing some weird type mess. And I never particularly cared for him. He was a weirdo. And then all this other stuff started coming out. And now we see what it is. So they said that, with him being upset, they said because he claims he is innocent of trafficking, yet he continues getting so much hate inside the lockup while Luigi gets so much love. Which I'm like, I don't know if it's the pink booger sugar that caused his delusions, but did he? Based off of all the allegations and things you've done, you did things to harm people. The way that people look at what Luigi did, they're like, oh yeah, because these have-nots, these haves be getting away with so much for so long. These CEOs, they taking advantage, having thousands of people's blood on their hands. And I kind of wish that you people that are you CEO defenders would have that same energy towards the thousands of people who are denied health care and have to die because these insurance companies are denying people the help that they need and having them just wither away and die because while they, take kickbacks and profit off these dead people. I wish I had the same energy for these people that are that are dead at the hands of these insurance companies as you do for these CEOs who continue to take so much of the damn pie that there's nothing left for the rest of us. So I kind of wish I had that same energy in that instead of just lazily, oh, he's a murderer. Because all murderers are created equal, right? According to some of y'all. So Mangione is apparently loved by the prisoners and is not having a difficult time dealing with everything because he has gotten so much support from prisoners who have shared with him their stories of losing loved ones due to inadequate health care. We can relate to that. We all can relate to somebody who has a damn hard on for abusing people, using his power to take down, to ruin the lives of those who are beneath him, or because you got a cake for your little freak offs and all that other stuff that you using the little people who need an opportunity, money, whatever the case is, and you being able to just do whatever you want because you want to get your rocks off. Luigi wasn't doing all of that with his whole situation. So we can relate to that. We can't relate to all these little situations that Diddy was doing before his ass got locked up. That's not a relatability factor with John Q. Public. So if he's too damn stupid to understand that, allegedly, according to this story, then that's on him. And that's why people don't like your behind. Because what you doing is unrelatable compared to the relatability of a Luigi. They also said not to mention the fact that the prison itself faces constant allegations of inadequate health care to those who are locked up. And we've heard about that, like the health care is a mess up in there. Now, while Diddy and Mangione share a legal team, well, do they really share a legal team? Because Mangione is using the wife of the guy who is, I think, repping Diddy. They are not cross paths in the prison as the alleged assassin remains in solitary confinement while the rapper is with Gen Pop. Now, Diddy has not had any contact with Luigi despite sharing the same legal team. They do not spend time together, and the two really have zero in common. And first of all, why would legal team? I mean, yeah, they may share the legal team, but why would they be wanting to hang out? Like, first of all, whatever's going on in my legal situation, whatever's going on in Diddy's situation, legally, is none of anybody's business. Neither one's business, I should say, if they're even sharing a legal team. And hello, attorney-client privilege. Why would that even be shared? So I didn't understand why the Daily Mail would need to put that in there. Oh, I forget, because maybe they get paid by the damn letter. Because their whole article was a 3-minute read. Now, Brooklyn's Metro Center still holds other high-profile inmates, such as Sam Bankman-Fried. It is also the jail where notorious sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein unalived himself. Now, officials say Mangione fatally pow-powed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on December 4th as he was walking to an investor conference in Midtown Manhattan. And this was in broad daylight. The unaliving shocked the business community, and they got their ass spooked and nervous because they were like, okay, all this other stuff that's going on is not going to, we're not going to take it anymore. And I had somebody in my comments that was like, well, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to change anything. Changing is you got to vote. Don't even get me started on the illusions that they try to feed y'all about how our voting system is going to work in our favor, because it doesn't. It's like, are you really going to sit up here and feed me this kumbaya bullshit? Like, I'm not buying it. And so, yeah, it is scared they ass because, when I said when you back someone into a corner, eventually they're going to come out swinging. And sometimes taking drastic measures, not that I'm encouraging it or I'm condoning it, but sometimes taking a drastic measure wakes people to freak up and makes you realize that, yeah, you can't keep beating people down. You can't keep trying to ruin people's lives and thinking they're just going to just walk away and just take it. You're going to get that one person that's going to lash out. And people thinking that just because Luigi comes from money, that means that he's not going to be affected. Apparently, it doesn't matter how much money he has or how much money he comes from. Insurance companies are going to galvanize and take advantage of whoever, regardless of social economic status. So I should say that he pleaded not guilty in New York State court to multiple counts of unaliving, including unaliving as a act of terrorism. Yeah, them trying to paint him as a terrorist. I had to cackle at that foolishness. I said, okay, corporate media, we see the narrative y'all trying to put out here, this little stunt, this little pomp and circumstance show that our stupid ass mayor Adams had put on. Oh yeah, I want to look at him personally and look him in the eye. They not in my city. Well, you mean in addition to all the other alleged federal criminal activities you've been doing in this city you call yours, that you try to get Trump to pardon your behind on, but you worried about your now all of a sudden it's your city and you give a damn about this? No, you care about corporate CEOs. You care about who's ever gonna shell out money to help your situation because you've been easily bought. Just like America, the US of A has been bought and paid for by anybody who's got a whole lot of money in their account. America's for sale. So was New York apparently. And the mayor that's running it. So Diddy, you got a way bigger fish to fry than sit out here worrying about Luigi getting more attention than you, allegedly behind bars. So I say all this to say, what do y'all believe? Well, do y'all believe this story, I should say? And do you think that Diddy would be jealous because Luigi's getting all the attention because, in prison, and sometimes when it comes to these celebrities, I know that the whole big ego on them is they just want to be loved and whatever the case is. But Diddy has allegedly hurt and done damage to so many people, whereas someone like Luigi, if this story is to believe, um, was tired of being the person that was hurting, especially when he had gotten this spinal surgery that he was still suffering from. And it was the pain was to the point that he couldn't even have sex. And then it's funny how the media were trying to paint it as he was like this teenager that was lacking in the sex department and decided to lash out and cause violence. That wasn't what it was. It was the surgery didn't do what needed to be done. And yeah, his frustration came from the fact that he's in so much pain he couldn't even have sex. So it wasn't that, sexual frustration causes people to lash out and kill folks. Like that narrative, I was like, this is why nobody listens to any kind of corporate media anymore because y'all are a damn joke. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Matia says maybe Diddy will have a prison freak off. Well, look, I don't want to hear him saying, take that behind the scenes. Way off topic, but thoughts on Thomas Zendaya being engaged. It's funny enough, I was supposed to bring that up yesterday and I totally forgot. I think I was actually going to bring that up. You know what? I'm going to bring that up in the story about Madonna because there is a rumor that Madonna is engaged. So when we get around to that, I will bring it up with I was going to tie all that in together. So, but I'm here for it. Is that if Luigi was still free, imagine what he'd say about. Wait, if Diddy was still free, imagine what he would say about Luigi. Yeah, because he's one of the corporate CEOs. He's one of the 1%. So it'll be interesting to see like what he would say on that whole situation. But we'll never know because he's gonna be locked up for the rest of his life. Now, child, speaking of insurance fraud and things of that nature, let's talk about Sunny Hostin's husband. Because apparently her husband, who was a surgeon, an orthopedic surgeon, Manny Hostin, is being accused of taking kickbacks, and he is caught up in one of the biggest RICO schemes in New York City. So I was like, yeah, we got to talk about this because we know she ain't going to talk about it on The View. Now, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin is among nearly 200 defendants named in one of the largest RICO cases ever filed in New York. He and many of the others are accused of getting kickbacks by performing surgery and fraudulently billing a company that insures tax companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. Now, Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries, the lawsuit filed on December 17 claims. The insurance firm American Transit was then billed in exchange for kickbacks and or other compensation, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. Now, Hostin's attorney, Daniel Thwaites, told DailyMail.com his client denies each and every allegation and called the lawsuit a blanket, scattershot, meritless lawsuit by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier. Okay. Saying it is meant to intimidate and harass doctors from collecting or care given to American Transit insureds and their passengers. He said Hostin has an impeccable record, adding American Transit has rushed into the lawsuit without ever conducting an examination of Dr. Hostin or expressing any concerns to his lawyers. Now, the real story here is about an insurance carrier abusing the legal system to limit and restrict healthcare benefits to its to its insureds and its passengers to write off as proper obligations. Now, see, now this is some Luigi Mangione mess. We sit up here literally talking about how, these insurance companies abusing the system to limit and restrict healthcare benefits to the insurance people, well, the insured and the passengers, so they can write off certain things and they won't have to pay it. So look, it's not just United Healthcare that's doing it. It seems like in so many ways, all these insurance companies out here doing it. So, Sonny, who's 56, has been married to the doctor for nearly a quarter of a century. They tied the knot in 1988 and have 2 children and live in a palatial 10-bed, 10-bath estate in Purchase, New York. Majority of the View people, for all that money they got, this is why I always said, like, they can't really relate to us regular folk, but they be sitting up there, and that's why it irritated my spirit when they was all on that show talking about Luigi and making him out to be this terrible. I was like, I get it, because you're part of ABC, you're corporate media, so you're going to play into that whole thing, but not understanding why Luigi did what he did. And then also talk about these insurance companies who were doing what they was doing. So, they definitely gonna come down on Sunny with this, because I know a lot of people do not like Sunny on The View. She comes across as very uppity. She comes across as very pompous, and very off-putting in the way that she comes across. And I won't say it's because, strong black woman type of situation, whatever it is, because I'm always here for a strong woman. But sometimes her delivery comes across like she acts like she's a damn know-it-all. And then there's times where she'll even come, which makes me uncomfortable at times when I watch The View, how she'll come down on her husband and how she'll, say like embarrassing things regarding him on the show, which I think this article even hints on that, but we'll get into that. So they also said that because I want to make sure I don't reread the same damn thing. Oh, they said they met in church in Maryland, where he graduated from Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine in 1996. And the funny thing is, if y'all got empty nest syndrome, and she talked about she got chickens and all other stuff in her house too, but I'm like, if y'all got empty nest syndrome, right, why the hell do y'all live in a 10-bed, 10-bath estate? I'd have to sell that, because her son, I don't think, lives there anymore. And I don't think her daughter lives there anymore either, because they're both off away at college. Sunny is a lawyer and a former prosecutor. She's a senior legal correspondent and analyst for ABC News, as well as a co-host on The View. So, funnily enough, I do have some of the receipts and stuff here. So they said that the surgical orthopedic providers purportedly performing arthroscopic procedures at by and or the surgical ASC include, but not limited to, defendants Akeem, Apazides, Baum, Berkowitz, Burston, Daza, Graziosa, Har, Hostin, Catherine. So these are all, I guess, the names of all the people who were performing the procedures. And then they also have the surgical orthopedic providers. The orthopedic providers build in their individual capacity and or through professional entities, of which they are record owners. So they have all that information there. I know if y'all watch this on TV, you can probably see it a whole lot better. And he also said that Emmanuel Hostin is a natural person residing in the state of New York, was licensed to practice medicine in the state of New York on or about August 6, 2002, under license number. And they got all that other stuff up in here. And, and here's how with the family. Dora got some thick hair. First of all, shout out to Sonny Hostin, because you got a fine ass son. That's a good looking boy. And look, he's of age, so I can say that. He's in college. I believe he's like 22. I ain't gonna be Drea though. I'm not gonna try to go out there and pursue this little boy. I don't even think he's a part of the homosexual community. But it's like, yeah, I'm not going after no 22-year-old. So, but they also said this. Now, she is no stranger to talking about her marriage on The View. Back in February, co-host Whoopi Goldberg branded her a bitch when Hostin openly slammed her husband's cooking live on air. She has also shared painful experiences, including by her struggles with infertility, because, both of her children were born via IVF. Before, as I said, she has, okay, so like I said, her son is 22 and her daughter is 18. Now, in January 2021, she revealed the tragic news that her husband's parents, who were both physicians, had died of COVID over the holiday break. Now, in the suit filed in federal court in Brooklyn, Dr. Hostin, who's 54, is named as the owner of Hostin Orthopedics, working out of an 8th floor office on Lexington Avenue, close to Manhattan's Grand Central Terminal. American Transit claims rampant insurance fraud is endemic in New York State thanks to its no-fault law, under which insurers must pay up to $50,000 for medical expense for people injured in road accidents. These substantial possible no-fault recoveries can incentivize providers with ill intent to overdiagnose, overtreat, and overbill to recover the most money for themselves. And I don't like this whole no-fault situation. So it's like, we can do whatever, but you can't even come at us. Hence, why Luigi Mangione, if we really want to get into it, did what he did. Oh, so there's no fault in what y'all doing? Oh, I'm going to show you fault. How, motherfucker. So that's maybe what they looking at with that. So the law was introduced in 1974 in the wake of rapidly rising automobile insurance costs and when accident victims were experiencing long delays in compensation, American Transit says in the suit. But taxis and rideshare vehicles are now required to pay up to $200,000, 4 times the coverage of private drivers. This has put a target on the backs of livery vehicles and the insurance companies, which insure them, for unsavory persons seeking to capitalize on payouts following injuries. Now, in the egregious, those abusing the no-fault law have racked up hundreds of millions of fraudulent payments, destabilized the livery insurance market in New York City, increased premiums for hardworking taxi can and livery drivers, and harm the public. And don't even get me started on that increase with the $900 tolls that they got out here in New York, which is freaking ridiculous. Now, American Transit is seeking more than $450 million in damages in the case. Now, the insurance company claims that Hostin was given an investment interest in Empire State Ambulatory Surgery Center in exchange for referring a steady stream of patients. The Empire State ASC issued regular payments to or for the benefit of Hostin, which in fact were illegal kickbacks for referrals. As examples, the insurance company claims Hostin, who is affiliated with several top New York hospitals, including Mount Sinai and Lenox Hill, saw 2 patients in January of 2023 who were involved in low-impact collisions that should have caused no more than soft tissue injuries. So, also what they say, okay, so, and then we're almost done with the story. So now in both cases, Hostin is said to have performed arthroscopic surgery with 2 months without seeing if the patients would have recovered through more conservative care. Now, William Natbany, an attorney for American Transit, told DailyMail.com no-fault fraud is a huge problem in New York. American Transit filed a lawsuit as part of their statutory responsibility to fight such fraud. But Stephen Harfinist, a lawyer who has repped defendants in similar cases, told Law.com that the lawsuit looked like a Hail Mary by American Transit. He called it a desperate attempt to wiping out large swaths of receivables by targeting smaller practices that might settle because they can't afford litigation. So that's the latest on this. And that was a lot. But I will definitely keep you abreast of the story as it develops. We'll see if Sonny speaks out on it. But she'll probably be like, well, look, this is my husband's legal situation. I can't speak on it. But then again, sis, you are a lawyer. You're a legal correspondent. You were an attorney. You love to remind us every time you're behind us on The View. You do your legal notes every damn episode. So you can do a little legal jargon where you can put it in a way where we know what's going on. So you can in a way speak on it, but you can speak lawyer. And we'll just have somebody get up on social media and decipher what you're saying, but not necessarily saying what you need to say. But So I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops because it did come out a couple of hours. Like I think literally an hour before I went live, this story broke on Daily Mail was the only one reporting it. But I'm sure the other ones will pick it up and we'll see this gain traction and I'll break it down even more as it develops. So I say all this to say, what do you think of this story in regards of Sonny's husband being accused of insurance fraud? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Were you gagging over that story? He said that seems right because Sonny is a stunt queen herself. And you know what? I want y'all sitting up here talking about denying of any wrongdoing, and she always tries to take this high road when it comes to thievery and illegal shit. Now her husband's caught up in some illegal mess. So it's like, sis, it's not looking good in your favor because you are the face on the View. So even though but then again, well, look, they ain't got nothing to do with her. With the stuff that's going on with him, the insurance fraud stuff, that's medical stuff. She don't understand nothing about all that. Although she did say on the show that because they were talking about holistic medicine versus like the medical industry, and I think they were bringing this up in regards to talking about Luigi, and she was saying, "Well, I'm gonna take the word of my husband who has the degree over holistic stuff." And it's like, okay, just because you got a degree, don't necessarily mean that means I don't know. There always seems to be this sense of, and I think it's an old school boomer thing, that there's a sense of status in going to college and having a degree. And that's all great and everything. However, it's been coming out a lot lately. And even back when I was in college ain't nothing but a damn scam. Why it is kept. Oh, sorry, Sailor Moon. I didn't read your story, your comment. You said love Sunny, but I've been over her because she acts stuck up. See, I would say I don't know if you was watching when I said that, but I was like, yeah, her energy has been very much stuck. Even recent, and I've always been a Sunny defender. Shout out to DJ and EJ. They've been Sunny defenders too. And we used to have our little conversations and stuff, post my other show when I used to do the show with a producer. Um, we used to go in and be very Sunny defenders, but now I feel like lately it has kind of been like her very much like acting like her shit don't stink. And she's been turning me over a lot lately. My mother can't stand her. My mother cannot stand Sunny Hostin. She gets irritated with her because I remember we would have conversations and stuff. She would always tell me, "Oh, I can't stand her." But with me, it was like, yeah, I used to defend her, but now it's just like, okay, now I can't even defend your ass no more. It's kind of like, some of y'all was out here in my comments on the story that I did on Tyra and going after the Vivian. And shout out to y'all who blew that video, that video up. I cut it up, edited it because I knew it was like nobody's doing that story right now. Let me go in after yesterday's show and let me cut it up. Let me post it. The video immediately blew up. It was a lot of people y'all was up in there commenting. I appreciate it, and people was up in there saying like, um. Damn, I forgot what I was saying. With the whole thing of we'll get into. You know what? I'm gonna save that for later because when I talk about the RuPaul thing, I can stitch all that together. So I'll save that for the story later on. So you said maybe she'll distance herself from him, separate until there's no out. Well, look, the way she be talking on that show, she ain't never leaving Manny. Manny can't do nothing. Manny can't do no wrong. Well, allegedly he committed insurance fraud because I said allegedly. I'm covering my butt with that. But the way she be acting up on that damn show, she be acting like, you know, she the slave master and he the slave. The way she be acting like she owned him. She's always been acting stuck up. Well, I didn't really pay attention to it before. And I think it's probably because she comes from the same background as like Kamala Harris, like the whole HBCU, that whole thing. And a lot of those, a lot of you people that fraternity sorority types, y'all do have a certain stench to y'all that be coming across very much as stuck up. I was so excited to watch Luther Dot, but can't stand how they treated Mama Patti. Tragic how Luther's generation of gays still carry such shame about their absolutely. And I love the fact that we've gotten to a place now that more of the younger generations that's coming up is very much open and very much proud of who they are and not trying to hide their sexuality and stuff. But yeah, people need to look at it back in the day that Luther could not come out and be his true authentic self. He would not have a career if he did. So what does that mean? That you saw the documentary? Because I was like, yeah, I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. First of all, y'all already know I do not have regular TV, let alone cable. So I know like you would have to go on CNN. And it's sad that CNN, y'all so desperate for ratings that y'all showing documentaries on y'all channel now. But I don't know if there's any streaming service that's showing it. But then again, like I said, because of this whole thing of y'all going in on Patti, I don't even know if I want to watch it now. Child, Fox News would have a field day if this is true. I wonder if they'll bring it up on the next episode tomorrow. You know they're not bringing that up on The View. They try to act like there'd be so many high profile stories that comes out that they just completely gloss over because they want to do stupid viewer deals. They want to talk about stupid Reddit relationship crap that Whoopi looks like she's so bored even sitting up there talking about. And then they want to talk about Trump's evil, Trump this, Trump that. Now they want to try to backpedal because like all the media is doing because everybody's running scared. Like especially we got what's the name now? This slowpoke, this idiot on the spectrum. What's his name? Mark Zuckerberg sitting up here talking about how, oh, we're going to eliminate fact checkers on Facebook. Really? This is what we doing? Because they run around scared. It's like now that we're getting in this second Trump term, you literally see everybody getting, and I don't want to make this about politics because I said I want to make this a show. I want to actually like the political stuff. I can do that with people in the group chats and all other stuff. But for this show, as we go into 2025, but sometimes if it slips into that, I don't mind talking about it. But I don't want to make this a show where it just gets too heavily political and then it starts turning not necessarily turning people off. I don't care, but I don't want to make it like I want people to be able to escape for a couple of hours. I don't want everybody to be caught up. Oh my god, like another thing about this person, that person. I'll let all the other political pundits that want to sit up here and talk about Trump and talk about him. Y'all already know how I feel about him. I ain't never liked Trump, even when he was in New York doing whatever. I mean, I did watch what's that show? I did watch The Apprentice at one point, but then when you started hearing stuff about The Apprentice, um, then it just got messy. But anyway, I mean, then I started like liking him less, especially when they try to do like they said, let's do a season of The Apprentice, blacks versus the whites. I'm like, are y'all serious? What's the worst view, host, and favorite? That's kind of hard. Who's on the show now? I mean, the only one that doesn't irritate me completely is Anna Navarro. She's the only one that don't irritate me. Whoopi look like she don't. I'll just do it like this. Whoopi look like she don't want to be there, but she there for the check. Joy Behar gives me Zionist tease at times, so she irritates me when she gets into that whole Zionist bullshit that she says on the show. Sarah Haynes is just like a lapdog for Alyssa Farrah Griffin. Like 9 times out of 10, she don't know what the hell she talking about on that damn show. So she irritates me a lot of times with her point of view. Alyssa is Alyssa. Alyssa looked like her leopard ain't changed her spies. While she sits there and tries to go along to get along with the Trump thing, she'll slip every now and again. You see like she's still kind of like when it comes to her views on politics. Because it's like, yeah, you denounce yourself from Trump. I'm glad that you voted for Kamala if that helps you sleep at night. But then when she was on Team Nikki Haley, her flip flopping behind, and then she was for Chris Sununu, who's another flip flopper. It was just like, girl, do you even understand some of the people you jump behind at times? Like, and you know, we're all human. We all make mistakes with things, but you seem to do repetitiveness with that. You was Team Trump. Then you seen the idiot, you know, the type of grifter that he was. Now you no longer Team Trump. Then you was Nikki Haley. She another damn grifter, flip flopping ass. Then, you know, then it was Chris Sununu. Now he flip flopping. It's like, I can't with you. It's like, girl, how many times you gonna get fooled? So, like I said, the only one on that damn panel I can deal with is Anna Navarro. Although she can have ways about her too, but she's the only one on there I can do. And then Sunny with her little uppity pompous bullshit, I can't deal with her either. But you want to know something? Did y'all hear the tea sidebar? Now I can bring this up. Did y'all hear the tea about Whoopi Goldberg was supposed to play Celia Cruz in a biopic? Since we saw about biopics today, I was reading that article and I actually wrote about it. She was supposed to play Celia Cruz. She said she aged out. She said I was up on my Spanish and everything. Would people have been for that? Which I have been for Celia Cruz being played by Whoopi Goldberg. And I guess they were doing that because Whoopi Goldberg was like a big name at the time. So you having someone with dark features play her, or would that have been as polarizing as Zoe Saldana playing Nina Simone? I'm genuinely curious. Y'all can drop it down in the comments on that whole situation. Luther's generation of homosexuals act like the pastor from Pose that had a crush on. Ooh, wasn't that season 3? That had a crush on Pray Tell for decades and tried to run away with him when he was married with kids. Mm-hmm. Is that goose how to go? And then there was this recent video. Speaking of closeted pastors, there was this video that came out about Kirk Franklin apologizing to the church or whatever, because people was clowning because I think he was in Jamaica. He was performing, he was wearing shorts and a tank top, and y'all was getting mad at him for what he was wearing. So what you want me to get up there in a damn turtleneck or some slacks in 110-degree weather and start preaching the word of God? Fuck out of here with that. I can't stand these uppity damn church people with y'all pompous attitudes. Cause ain't no way in hell I'm sweating out my damn near passing out because y'all hate my attire. Could you imagine Mr. Swallow with all them titties if he got up there and wore all of that? Y'all wouldn't have had that same energy for him as y'all do Kirk Franklin. Y'all just mad because Kirk Franklin got body yada yada, and y'all was feeling a little tingulation in your loins because of how good he looked, and he showed off his body, and he should be able to show off what he wanted. First of all, is there a specific look that y'all have to have if you in the church? This is why I don't get caught up in the whole church BS, because y'all just be killing me with the hypocrisy. You said, oh, LOL, because they cowards. Even Disney shelved and canceled shows like Moon Girl, who had an episode that, oh yeah, I heard about that, who had to deal with a transphobic gym teacher and one of the supporting characters who was a trans girl. Yeah, they are a bunch of damn pussies. Even the Democrats, like this whole recent thing that I heard about the Supreme Court and Trump getting away with another situation and Democrats sitting on their hands. I'm like, look, if y'all sit on y'all hands and don't do shit and y'all don't take back everything in 2026, then I'm done. I'm not voting no more. I don't give a fuck. Let it all burn. That's basically where my energy is about to be in 2028. I don't care about this country no more. I've been holding out for the longest, but if y'all don't give a shit, then I don't care either. Because I'm not gonna keep fighting if you people that are in the position to do the work don't want to do the damn work. Sailor Mermaid said, I tolerate Sarah and Anna. I tolerate Sarah too, but lately she been getting on my damn nerves. But Anna Navarro is like my top. But wait a minute, you asked the question, Cleveland, who was your least and most favorite? Used to love Joy, but she aggravated. No, let an Afro-Latina who's dark-skinned and have her features play Celia Cruz. Well, I think we could do that now. But this was 30 some odd years ago when they were doing this. But you got to remember, back then they weren't looking at things like we are now. So I'm like, yeah, if they decided to revisit a Celia Cruz biopic, I do agree. We got to let a Afro-Latina actress portray her. I would love to see that. You know who I think? Maybe she probably would have aged out too. You know who I would have loved to have seen play Celia Cruz? Gina Torres. I like her. That's Lawrence Fishburne ex-wife. I would love to see her play Celia Cruz, but I think they would probably say she's too old to play her. So I don't know who we can get. Maybe Zoe Saldana. Look, she Afro-Latina. She got them features. They same complexion. I said, look, it may not have worked out with you playing Nina Simone, but I could definitely see you playing her in. I could definitely see you playing Celia Cruz. I think that would be more up her alley. Oh, you say you like Anta Navarro. I gave up on this country long ago. I didn't even vote last 2 years because it's the same shit. Absolutely. And y'all not interested in getting some progressives up in there. So if y'all not willing to make the change because both sides want to be, bought and paid for by a bunch of damn oligarchs, or however the hell, I always thought that were, you know what I'm saying, oligarchs and robber barons and these super PACs, then I'm not putting my energy into this because this country's already been sold eons ago, especially when, back when they took and stole it from the native damn Americans. And now it's like y'all making it more obvious. Whoopi annoys me because she's doing it clearly. And you can, yeah, absolutely. She does very much give like, girl, you don't even want to be here. And now you down a check because Annie rapped on Sunday. So, I mean, but then she's supposed to be doing some type of series that Neil Gaiman is doing. That's supposed to be on Prime Video. I forget the name of it, but that's supposed to be her next project. You can't expect a different result of the same tired system that refused to reform. You have brought destruction, and you have to bring destruction and bring forth a new creation. Absolutely, they're not willing to do that, but the people going to have to do it. The people going to have to unplug from the matrix. Yes, I'm using that reference because we talked about it earlier. You got to unplug from the matrix and be able to, do what needs to be done. That's why I said even with the whole CEO thing, sometimes you have to bring forth destruction in order for change to happen. So when I got clowns in my comments talking about, oh, it's not him pow-powing that CEO ain't going to change nothing. It started a conversation. There's been people out here who's been making things. Now they want to make it a terroristic act if you even make a threat towards the CEO. You are shady for that comment. Not Hannaford did the Celia tribute. Yeah, I remember that. But no, not Hannaford. They were like, no, she can't play her. She light skinned. But I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when she did it on the award. What award show was that? Was that the Grammys? I also saw an article about Bad Bunny finally addressed the Puerto Rico, the pile of garbage comment. I'm like, sir, you are like weeks late on that. Why are you addressing it now? Because you dropped the album on Sunday? But anyway, um, okay, let's get into more legal news and let's talk about the latest on Justin Baldoni and his lawyer, who's basically saying they got evidence that could pretty much show that my girl, well, not my girl, what am I talking about? That Blake Lively ain't nothing but a damn liar. So that's what he out here alleged. So Justin Baldoni's lawyer has claimed he has evidence of Blake Lively's alleged pattern of bullying on It Ends With Us amid the pair's vicious lawsuits against each other. Excuse me. Now, Lively, who's 37, starred in It Ends With Us opposite Baldoni, who's 40, who also directed the film, which was released in theaters this past August and is currently streaming on Netflix. And it can stay there because I don't care enough to watch it. Now, after the one movie I do want to see is Night Bitch. I've heard so many things about that film that's great, and I think it's on Peacock or one of them streaming services. So I got to check that out. No, it's on Hulu. What am I talking about? Now, Lively 30. Now, what they say after months of rumors, Lively filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department, alleging Baldoni had improvised unwanted kissing scenes and created a hostile work environment through sexual harassment and more. Now, just a day later, the New York Times published an article revealing Baldoni hired a crisis PR team to bury Lively and destroy her credibility, with Lively then suing Baldoni and his Wayfarer Studios company later that day. Now, Baldoni responded by filing a $250 million libel lawsuit against the New York Times for the report that he claimed pushed an unverified and self-serving narrative. Now, attorney Brian Friedman says that he has receipts showing Lively's alleged threats to take over the movie in a new statement issued to People on Tuesday, January 7th. So yeah, there was a story that was going around that, she had even involved her husband, Ryan Reynolds, in the whole takeover in regards of like, oh yeah, well, we have a lot more power behind the scenes, like Ryan Reynolds. I forget how much money that they've accumulated together. So Ryan and Blake, with their power and their influence in Hollywood, they were like, we're going to take over this movie because we don't like the direction of which you were doing it. And my thing is, if you're going to adapt the book into a movie, then shouldn't you adapt the thing as it is? Instead, she wanted, from what I've heard, that she wanted to change the character of the character. She wanted to change who the character was that she's portraying from the book in the movie, which I don't really know because I ain't seen a damn film, nor do I care. Because even before all this stuff came out, when It Ends With Us, whatever, I was like, I still don't care about this film. But the drama behind the scenes and this legal stuff is way more entertaining, I'm sure, than the film. Because from what I've heard from people, they were like, the movie wasn't even all that. For y'all to even be garnering this much drama behind the scenes. So they said, we are releasing all of the evidence, which will show a pattern of bullying and threats to take over the movie. He said it is painfully ironic that Blake is accusing Justin of weaponizing the media when her own team orchestrated this vicious attack by sending the New York Times grossly edited documents prior to even filing a complaint. And I even did a story yesterday where she was talking about that she was losing money for the brand deals because of Justin and what he did. And they were like, and I can't tell you the amount of people that was in my comments that was literally saying, But sis, you brought this upon yourself. You're the one that shot the first, you know, I was trying to figure out how I can word this. You're the one who fired off the first shot, I guess, because I was trying to do a whole shots fired situation. I was like, brain is not going to work. You're the one that fired off the first shot. So how is it Justin's fault when you're the one that came out with the situation first? You're the one who came out with the whole thing. Justin, I'm sure, was just going to be like, you know what? Yeah, we didn't have the best of times behind the scenes, but I'm gonna be professional. I'm gonna just go out promote this movie, and we could both go our separate ways. You're the one that decided to come out and do all this pomp and circumstance, filing the legal papers, trying to destroy this guy's career reputation. Then look, I'm not trying to negate the fact that maybe there was some things that went on behind the scenes and he was being problematic or whatever the case is. And she has a right to file those papers if need be. But sis, you cannot be upset because you're saying that, oh yeah, he took money out of your pocket. He destroyed, you started losing money from your brand deals, your drink line and your hair line, even though she had all this stuff going on until it came up. And now she's basically saying that that was his fault. And people are saying that is your fault. And it's weird, like how we're looking at it. Well, it's not necessarily weird because based off of her reputation, she has to look at it that way. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror and realize that if you have rubbed a lot of people the wrong way and there's been a reputation about you in Hollywood being problematic, then maybe you need to look in the mirror and realize that, you know what, maybe I'm the problem. So I'm not trying to say that Justin Baldoni is innocent in this situation because he probably isn't. But I feel like there's fault on both sides. And I'm going to keep saying that because I truly believe that, you know what, there's probably fault on his side and there's fault on her side. I think the reality is she met her damn match when she got on that damn set and she wants to, Karen the whole situation. And it's backfiring in the court of public opinion. The courts is another story. But in the court of public opinion, it seems like more people, especially a lot of women, are team Justin over team Blake. So they also said none of this will come as a surprise because consistent with her past behavior, Blake Lively used other people to communicate those threats and bully her way to get whatever she wanted. We have all the receipts and more. Now, this all comes after lawyers for Lively condemned Baldoni for launching even more attacks against his client. Lively's legal team insists that two people that Lively's serious claims of harassment and retaliation are in fact backed by concrete facts. This is not a feud arising from creative differences or a he said, she said situation, as alleged in Miss Lively's complaint, and as we will prove in litigation, Wayfair Studios and its associates engaged in a lawful retaliatory astroturfing against Miss Lively for simply trying to protect herself and others on a film set. Now, and they also said, and the response to the lawsuit has been to launch more attacks against Miss Lively since her filing. Well, look, if she's going to file her stuff, he has a right to file his stuff as well. And my thing on that situation is this. It's up to the court of law. It's up to the jury if it's going to go to trial, whatever the case is, to decide who's going to come out victorious in this situation. But Blake, you cannot sit up. Blake and Blake's team, y'all can't sit up here and think that, oh, I'm going to sit up here and she'll still come out whichever way because who she's married to, she'll still be able to. I don't know if she'll be able to have if it will be an Amber Heard type of situation. Almost said Amber Turd. An Amber Heard type situation where she'll, her career will be ruined. She'll still be able to get work. But girl, if you come out and another situation happens where another lawsuit is filed and somebody says that it was a hostile work environment and you toxic, then I believe that it'll be the end of your career. I don't think she will be hurt by this. I do feel like Justin is probably has more to lose because he's not an A-lister. He's someone who was on a TV series on the CW and got to direct and star in a film that I guess he was passionate about and Blake Lively was attached to, and now this drama conglomerate is happening. So I do feel like he has way more to lose than she does. She'll be fine. As long as she married Ryan Reynolds, she ain't gonna be hurting financially. She got 4 kids with him. She has an okay career, like quiet as it's kept. Blake's career ain't never been the one that was out here popping as much as like any other high profile actress. She was no Anne Hathaway or no Kate Beckinsale or a Jennifer Lawrence. Like her career wasn't popping like those girls. But Maybe I should have went younger. I should have put Kate back and said Kate's in her 50s. But like I was saying, like all these other girls, and she is from TV. Like her career ain't out here on copacetic like a Sarah Michelle Gellar. So that's all the latest we have on this now, and we'll see how all this works out with this whole smear campaign against her and based on him. And so we was talking about this. So yeah, they were talking about that her sales plummeted by up to 78% after the social manipulation campaign started. Saying based on internal sales projections, the sudden and unexpected negative media campaign launched against Ms. Lively depressed retail sales of Blake Brown Productions by 56 to 78%. They also went on to add this dramatic drop was completely at odds with the high satisfaction scores that Blake Brown products received in the significant consumer testing performed before launch of its initial success after launch. Well, we'll see if they can prove based on the books, and I hope you've been keeping tabs on it, if based on the situation that came up with this lawsuit, what the sales were before, pre and post lawsuit. So we'll just have to wait and see with all of that. But that's the latest on Justin Baldoni and his lawyer. And I'm sure Blake Lively's lawyers have gone back. I told you, this is like one big pickleball match. It's just tit for tat, back and forth, the consistent with this. And it's hard to keep up. But it seems like every day I'm going to have to bring y'all the latest. So whatever your thoughts are regarding this whole Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively mess of a case, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Silver says the fact that Amber Turd showed support Blake made me side eye the situation, but we'll have to wait and see when we have all the evidence. Cleveland says nobody's going to work with them too problematic. But yeah, I just think at this point, Blake, after you win all this, if you happen to come out victorious, just be a stay-at-home mom, raise them babies, and let Ryan go out and do the work. Kind of like the other Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes. Although Eva Mendes ain't caught up in no mess, but let Ryan go out and be the breadwinner, and you just sit at home, raise them kids, and you do your little passion projects. You endorse your stuff. You have your little endorsements. Maybe even, I don't even want to encourage it. I was gonna say maybe even do a podcast. Please don't. We don't need no more podcasts from a lot of you celebrity women. Her doing a podcast with like me, like Gwyneth Paltrow doing a podcast. It's a no, ma'am. Please don't. Unless she launches with Ryan, a production company where she can star in any projects. I don't know if they have a production company together. That's a good question. But I'm going to have to look into that. I'm not sure if they have a production company. But yeah, unless they do something and she just produces behind the scenes. But it's just like based off of all this stuff, I feel like that Blake might be polarizing to a lot of people. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Madonna, who there's rumors going around that Madonna's engaged. I don't know if it's true, but according to the Daily Mail, this is a story that they're running around with. So let's entertain it. And I'll give my overall thoughts once we're done entertaining the shenanigans. So Madonna recently appeared in New York. She's been hanging out what was she, in Japan, I think? She was in Japan over the holidays. Now she just officially came back to New York. I guess she's going to be putting the finishing touches on the rest of the new album, or she's got other business endeavors going on. But the word on the street is that she may be engaged to her boyfriend, Akeem Morris, and she was just recently spotted showing off a ring. And it's funny how, like, when I was looking at this picture earlier, I was like, yes, that face and everything, it looks 35. But them hands look every bit of 66. Because I was like, how old is she again? Okay. So the 66-year-old Queen of Pop sent the speculation into overdrive last week when she flashed a diamond ring on her left hand. Now, in an IG photo, Madonna could be seen proudly holding up the bauble for the camera as she and Akeem, who's 28, walk side by side down a hallway. She was seen strolling through JFK Airport with Akeem this week, but it's unclear whether she still had the ring on as she was wearing gloves to hide them hands. The Material Girl was bundled up to the maximum for her flight, wearing a voluminous puffer jacket, a couple of scarves, and a cozy looking diamond print sweater. Well, to be honest, it's been freezing in New York. So I can totally understand why she's been, overdressed, especially today. What's the weather? 26 degrees. It is 26 degrees in New York. And that wind today is just overall flat out disrespectful. And I think that this weather is going to be this bad for the duration of the week. So they also said winding her signature blonde hair, excuse me, into two braids. She accessorized with a large set of sunglasses and accented her strikingly smooth complexion with makeup. Now, Akeem was similarly warmly dressed in a anorak layered over a hoodie, teamed with a pair of sweats and a knit beanie that kept him prepared for the northeastern chill. But funny enough, what he got on, I would actually wear out in the street. Cause it's like, yeah, I'll be wearing sweats in this weather. I'm buying like the thick pair because I'm like, it's too damn cold to be trying to get all dressed up. So I've been to hell and back, and let me tell you, it was wonderful. I saw the phrase at a Louis Bourgeois exhibition in Tokyo over New Year's Eve, she wrote. She took the words right out of my mouth. To be a mother and an artist, equal parts joy and suffering, continued the Like a Virgin singer. I can't imagine living any other life. Here's to more love, to happy children, to magical thinking, to good health, and eternal blessings. I give thanks and praise to anyone being brave in this life and all the others. In 2025, I raise a glass to anyone who has the courage to be their authentic selves. Well, hopefully that'll be the overall theme of her next album. I just feel like less political stuff and more, be your authentic self. Her New Year's festivities also included her children, some of whom were pictured in the album she posted to mark the dawn of 2025. She welcomed her daughter Lola. Well, I call her Lola. Well, we all call her Lola, but they got Lourdes up in here. She welcomed her daughter Lourdes with fitness trainer Carlos Leon, and Lola is 28. And then she has a son, Rocco, who's 24, with her ex-husband, Guy Ritchie. Here's the thing. Regarding this story, do I believe that she's engaged to be married? I think Madonna is out here trolling. I think she's out here to get y'all to talk. After a while, you get tired of her like flashing her boobs and stuff on social media. You can't keep doing that because we get bored. It's like, girl, we seen your titties already. Like, I gandered. I took a gander through the sex book, so you don't need to see your boobs. I already seen them. So when you out here being provocative with the sexual stuff, it gets really old and it just comes across as looking desperate. I'm all for older women living their best life and still being sexual and in their prime and all other stuff. But it always just comes across like, girl, you trying too hard. So just put all that to the side. But in regards to the ring thing, I think she's out here trolling, messing with y'all. I do not believe after her situation with Guy Ritchie, when she had to give her all that damn money, being married to him in the settlement, that Madonna would even ever think about getting married ever again. But then again, you can never say never. But in regards of her marrying a dude in their late 20s, it was like, no. And you want to know how much money she lost? She had to fork over $76 million to Guy Ritchie. So Guy Ritchie don't never have to make another movie ever again in life. But he's a filmmaker, so he's always going to make movies. He's always been releasing movies as of late. He has a couple of movies coming out soon. But for the most part, I was like, yeah, she had to fork over $76 million to him, including the value of their country house in England and the West London pub they previously co-owned. Because I forgot that he loved, being he was like a pub guy. Like, Guy Ritchie's a guy's guy. And you can kind of tell that based off of you watched any of his films like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch and all those type of films. Even like when you watch his Sherlock Holmes stuff, it's got a sense of broism to the way he presents those movies. Did he also do Robin Hood with Jamie Foxx, or was that somebody else? So yeah, Guy Ritchie and the whole pub vibe, like, yeah, he's very much into that whole thing. So she basically gave him that, the country house, and $76 million. Now, 2 years ago, she did do a YouTube Q&A. This was around the time when, there was talking about, like, what was the next genre of music you want to get into? And she said house. And this is when she was on her little, her own country, well, estate, whatever. I think it was out in New York. And they asked her if she would ever consider getting married again. And she said, maybe. Not the best idea. So she kind of alluded to the fact that no, this is not something that I would do. Now, I don't think she's ever regretted getting married. When she married Sean Penn, I don't think that was ever a regret. A regret. I don't think she ever regretted marrying Guy. I do think she was hurt from how that whole marriage imploded. But to me, at her age, if I'm 66 years old and I'm worth millions of dollars, Chris ain't getting married. I was like, okay, been there, done that, water t-shirt. I gave it a try, not once, but twice. But after that, I'm done. Like I'm not interested in getting married. I'm not interested in getting caught up in a whole bunch of other stuff where it's like we gotta plan the wedding. We gotta like at least Madonna learned her damn lesson. You know, yeah, I feel like she learned her lesson. Unlike Hennifer, who how many times she had to go. I was trying to figure out how I was gonna work that in there. I was like, unlike Miss Hennifer, who had to get married like 4 times, and still she'd be like, "Oh yeah, I learned my lesson, girl, please." Because like after this whole situation, we get into the thing with her and Ben Affleck. I was like, it'll be a matter of time. 2 years from now, you're gonna find a new man and talk about walking down a damn aisle again. So I don't think Hennifer learned her lesson. I think she learns her lessons in the moment, but she's one of those that is the definition of insanity. Do the same thing over and over, expecting a damn new result. But Madonna, I do feel like she's done. I don't feel like that she's interested in wanting to walk down the aisle ever again. First of all, there's way too much money getting caught up in like I'm not giving no more money to any of my husbands. And Akeem, I think them two are having a good time, and to me, that's enough. I was like, you know what? I'm having a we having a good time, and when it's time to move on, it's time to move on, and on to the next one. So I said, this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do you think there is any truth to Madonna possibly being engaged to her latest boo thing? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. You know, um, did I read this one? Oh yeah, I did read that one. She said, "Oh, thank you, Robert. I got a $4 super sticker." You know, yeah, because I told him my rent went up, so I need little coins. And so let's not forget when Madge and Guy Ritchie was spotted by paparazzi with us. Oh yeah, I remember that story. You had to bring that strap on up. God definitely gives me that. He might be a low key freak. Um, but anyway. Okay, so we have 3 more topics to go in today's show, and then we are done. So before we get to said topics, if you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button, and also smash the notification bell because it won't Jennifer Lopez's love. It won't cost you a thing. It's free, although I do appreciate the super chats, the super stickers, all that other stuff. But yeah, it definitely helps with the algorithm, and the thing also because I've noticed my numbers been going up, which I appreciate, and a lot of people have been adding, subscribing, which is great. It also increases my payation situation over there with YouTube. So, um, it definitely helps with that. So I appreciate all those who have been subscribing and becoming a part of the Chris Avalon messy family. Because we messy over here, unapologetically so. All right, so now let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about Charlemagne, who is giving us an update on Wendy Williams. How you doing? So Charlemagne is sharing a hopeful update on Miss Wendy. So he recently was he was on the Breakfast Club. And you know that there's been this story floating around that, Sabrina Morrissey, her court appointed guardian, has been running around with this narrative saying that Miss Wendy is incapacitated, although we have seen footage of Wendy being everything but incapacitated. Like in previous videos that we did on this show, I showed you a video of her in a car that she would look like she was in good spirits. She had went and got some food, whatever the case was. She was having a conversation with the people that was recording, and she was in the car. She seemed like she was in great spirits. Then we just saw her recently with her son's graduation, where she was basically cussing out her damn staff. She was like, y'all want to work for me? Then you need to get the damn car. And was going to leave her wheelchair and everything out, her scooter, because that's what it was. I would say wheelchair, but it was like, it wasn't a wheelchair, it was a scooter. She was using the scooter, whatever. Y'all was leaving that stuff out there. She said she paid an effing mint for it, which means a lot of money. It's like Wendy's still in that old school terminology, which was a cackle. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, the way she's talking, she sounds perfectly fine to me. Although when you do, I believe, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to sit up here and try to act like I understand what goes on in the mind. But I know, like, when you have something like dementia and you know, all that stuff, anything with the mind, that you have your good days and your bad days. Sometimes she be on point, and I'm sure there's sometimes when she's not on point. But so far, the footage that we've been seeing, she seems to be on point. So Charlamagne revealed when he was on The Breakfast Club that he recently spoke to Wendy and that she was in great spirits. Now, I do have the clip, courtesy of the Shade Room. And so we're going to play that clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
Spoke to Wendy over the holidays.
He did.
Yeah.
What happened?
She seemed perfectly fine to me. Like, Wendy sounded like she could do radio tomorrow if she wanted to.
You reached out to her. She reached out to you. How did that happen?
Me.
Oh, she called you.
Yeah, and I don't know what incapacitated means in regards to dementia or whatever it is they say she was dealing with, but no, there ain't nothing incapacitated about Wendy Williams.
How was her energy? How was
she sound like Wendy Williams? Trying to tell you, like there was she didn't skip a beat. She actually said to me when she called me, she was like, "Why are you answering the phone like we just spoke yesterday? We just talked last week." Like she wanted me to be more excited. She called
stop acting like you ain't sit on my lap. What's up?
That's exactly that's exactly what it was.
Really?
To the point where they, you know, sometimes you be on, like, I have my the phone on like my shoulder. Yeah, I was washing my hands because I have peed. And
we didn't have to hear that part.
I'm just saying. And, then, and I guess the phone must have said record or something like that. So the phone says, and when I saw it, I stopped it. So it said recording conversation. Stopped. Yeah. So she was like, "Are you recording me?" And then she was like, "No, you wouldn't do that." Like, so it's like she's perfectly normal. I spoke to Wendy over the holiday.
Well, you know what, Charlamagne, I love you, but, well, not really, but I love you for this. But I'm like, sir, should you be out here snitching? Like, don't be out here telling Wendy business. Because look, she's in a situation where, you know, oh my God, why is my picture blurry? Oh, she's in a situation where it's just like, I understand, like, on one hand, y'all trying to say she's perfectly capable and aware of her surroundings and all other stuff because y'all want to get her out of that court-appointed guardianship and she wants to be able to have access to her money. And me personally, I would love for her to get out of this because the way that these people that they've been putting in her care are treating her, I do feel like she needs to be out of that situation and be under the care of family members that actually give a damn about her. I don't think that her son, Lil Kev, is taking advantage of his mother. I do not feel like that. I do feel like if she is under his care, that there will be family members that will genuinely take care of her, like her sister Wanda, like her son, and they could bring, and maybe even her niece, Alex, who has been going on, who went on The View and was speaking out about Wendy and all the other mess that she was dealing with at the time. So I would hope that Wendy would be under the care of family who actually cares about her. Now, if that's what y'all, if you were able to get Britney Spears out of her situation, and then we see how Britney been behaving later on, and we be the same ones up in here tomorrow, y'all wanted Britney free, right? And look, she has a right to be free. She grown. And let Britney do whatever she's doing with her own stuff and her own life and her own money. Same thing with Wendy. Wendy, if she's a woman who's of sound mind, allegedly, in what they're saying, and she's actually aware of what's going on according to Charlamagne, according to her son, and all these other people that have been speaking out, then that's great. I would want Wendy to get the best care that she possibly needs and not be under the thumb of these people who's sitting here robbing her damn blind. But if she wind up in the care of people who genuinely care about her and they end up doing the same thing, it's like, look, she ain't with them people no more. Now she need to deal with this mess over here, and y'all can cross that bridge when you get to it. But on the other hand, the thing I was worrying about was that, okay, now if y'all do this, now what if her old shady ass ex-husband, Kelvin, try to come up in here and start some mess and be like, see, yo, she ain't messed up, yo. You know how he be talking? He irritates me. But and then be like, well, now you can pay me the alimony. All that money that you said you couldn't pay because you were under whatever issues that you was with, and now you no longer working and doing the show, then all that back money that you owe me. I want to take her to court and get that money because Kelvin need to get up off his ass and get a damn job instead of sitting out here taking advantage of Wendy. In so many ways, I feel like he never really loved her. Like the way he acted was like, yeah, no shade, but I truly feel this. I feel like her situation, she in the same situation as Nicki Minaj. They got with the men that they with for protection. Because Wendy was talking a whole lot of slick mess when she was doing the talk, when she was doing radio and talking about a lot of celebrities. A lot of celebrities didn't like her. People wanted to fight her, including old bulldaggers over there at from Total, especially Mr. Pam. They was all up in there trying to fight Wendy Williams. Thing that all had to do with Diddy. Diddy tried to destroy her. You see what his ass is. He in prison while Wendy in a mental prison. And then you have all this other stuff going on. And now it's a hot ass mess. And so I'm hoping that she is in better spirits. I'm hoping that she can get the help that she needs. I hope that she can get out of this conservatorship. But I also hope that this doesn't open a Pandora's box for her shady ass ex-husband to come out and try to take advantage of her. So what was the people saying in the shade room comments? And now one person said, Charlamagne, stop snitching. Let her finesse in peace. Another person said, calling in sick, but your coworker tells the team you appeared well when they spoke to you. I know he a snitch. Snitching ass bitch. Remember that from Empire? Shout out to Lucius. And said, as long as she claims she's unable to work due to health reasons, she doesn't have to pay alimony. I'd act like I'm incapacitated too. Another person said, can you imagine Wendy Williams covering today's drama? Nobody would stand a chance in media. Another person said Wendy would do Michael Jordan numbers covering 2024-2025 mess/drama. Another person said she seemed like she was fine when she was cussing that person out about her scooter. So yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. Oh, another person said this. See, this is what I was saying. I told y'all Wendy was playing crazy so that man wouldn't get any more of her money. Wendy is smart. This is chess, not checkers. And look, she always told us back in the day that she could hatch a plan, but we don't need Charlamagne out here snitching and telling her business. It's like, if you say that she seemed fine to me and left it at that, then that's that. And then you got nosy ass, damn, I almost called him Ebro. I wouldn't insult Ebro like that. You got DJ Envy out here trying to be all nosy or whatever the case is, trying to get more out of him. But it was like, you should have provided the information to begin with. You should have kept that to yourself. So good luck to you, Wendy. And then also they were talking about the whole podcast situation or her coming back, because a lot of people are still out here talking about Wendy needs to come back to the industry. Wendy needs to come back with a new show. She needs to do radio and all this other stuff. No, I don't. I think like Wendy needs to focus on her health. Wendy needs to focus on being the best person that she can be. Y'all be so quick to try to act like she needs to be out here doing the celebrity news and gossip. Why y'all trying to put her back to work? If she doesn't have the capacity to be able to do that, then I say, like, no, it shouldn't be like that. Although, if she wanted to do a podcast, which she was alluding to that she wanted to do, when she was being the hot mess that she was, self-medicating with the drinks and all the other mess, then you can understand her doing a podcast. A podcast is not that bad. All she has to do is hire a producer, a team of people, and then they can put together a show of topics they want to talk about, similar to what I do, except I'm an army of one. I'm doing all this programming and everything by myself. So it's you put your list of topics you want to talk about. I don't know how many shows you would like to do, 3, maybe 4 episodes a week. You put your topics together. You come up with whatever it is you want to talk about. You put them in the order you want to talk about. You have your stuff. You give your opinion. You read the notes on whatever it is that you have, so that way you got your facts, and then you give your opinion and you keep it moving. If she want to do something like that, then that would be great. Although I just feel like where Wendy is now, she's not gonna. I don't want her to step back into an arena that she once was the queen of and come back in and y'all like, well, damn, maybe it wasn't a good idea she came in, because she's not going to be at her sharpest. And we saw at one point when she was doing the TV show and she was under the influence, we started seeing like cracks in the situation. That Wendy was up on that stage. Remember that time she was up there pissy drunk? We didn't know if she was drunk. We was like, what's going on with her? Apparently she was pissy drunk, being a mess, and they were trying to cover, Norman and all them were trying to cover for her on the show. She came out a hot ass mess because she was dealing with that husband out here laying it over, spreading it wide with that whore that he had a baby with. So At this point, I'm just like, no. Wendy need to get herself together. I want to remember her when she was at her height, when she was at her peak. I know the greedy side of us want her to come back and do TV and whatever. But if you're not at your 110% best, then no, you don't need to mess up your legacy because people out here missing you for the celebrity news and gossip. So there's that. But as someone who was a mentor in my head, I would love to see Wendy back. But it's like, no, girl, focus on you before you even think about trying to get back in this podcast and entertainment news media space. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to Charlamagne spilling tea about giving us a Wendy update? I'm glad that she's in great spirits and stuff, and I'm glad he's giving us that. But I just felt like, you know what? Don't be out here telling all her damn business. Don't mess up the thing. I mean, we need to get her out of this conservatorship, but all the other stuff, we don't need Kelvin greedy ass getting any ideas. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, we got comments. Oh yeah, Sailor Mermaid says, I don't think he loved her either. No, it was a convenience. And it's funny because I was watching something, I don't remember what it was, but they said I think that was like Wendy went from one addiction to another. Like she was a cokehead when she was doing radio back in the day because she was trying to prove that she didn't want to do the whole regular route of what it was she was going through in her family. She was a middle child. Her sister was like the favorite, the darling, because she went to school and she was well educated. And I think her sister is in the medical field or the legal field. I can't remember exactly what her sister's profession is off the top of my head, but she was revered and everything, and she was put on this high pedestal. And Wendy Williams was the girl who, was reading the tabloids and having fun and doing all this stuff. And she wasn't the smartest kid in her class. She wasn't someone who was like well into the books and the education, but she had the gift of gab. She was someone who was funny and had a great personality. And I guess that wasn't enough for her parents. And her parents was always prodding her about her weight and all that other stuff. She was dealing with a lot. So she was like, I'm not going to go back home. And it was like, I need to prove to myself that I could become this big star. So she slept in her car and, was going back and forth from DC to New York doing, college radio, caught a coke addiction. And then she went cold turkey, but not realizing her next addiction was Kevin. She got addicted to him. And then when he was doing her dirty, what was her next addiction? Alcohol. So I was like, nobody ever goes, I'm sorry, but nobody, in my opinion, maybe I could be wrong, but I've never felt that people could just go cold turkey with something. You're trading one addiction for another. And he said, I would love for her to return with a podcast, but I want her to be better and live her best life. Absolutely. There's enough space for there's enough space for everybody in the podcasting space. Some of y'all don't need a damn podcast, quiet as it's kept. But for the most part, Wendy Williams doing a podcast, I would love to see it. But if she's not at her 110%, then there's that. Wendy started getting out of touch with late 2010 celebrities too. Dula Peep. Well, that's why I took that Dula Peep thing from her because I just thought it was funny. Dula Peep, Little Nas X, all that crazy stuff she said about Ariana Grande. He said, we don't need Wendy Williams. We have Chris Avalon. Hush your mouth. I'm talking about why not have both? Let me bask in my moment. No, I'm just playing. But it's like, yeah, I mean, in no way in hell am I trying to be Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams is somebody who, like I told you, is a mentor in my head. She is someone who inspired me to do all this, even though I've been doing this for almost 20 years. 2026 will make 20 years that I've been doing the whole YouTube, well, not YouTube. Actually, I was looking at the numbers. I started YouTubing back in 2013, but I didn't start taking it seriously until about 3 years ago. And then I started to see my numbers grow with the fandom and the subscribers and things. But Wendy Williams is definitely somebody who inspired me to actually get and start doing like the video. So I like doing this more than the blogging and the writing and all that other stuff because it's like you get to show more of your personality, and I get to interact with a lot of you guys. So that's why I like doing what I'm doing. What is an angle I realize not other people are doing, which I'm here for. It's like, yeah, I like interacting with the people. So I don't think that. So yeah, with this, I don't agree that I don't want her to go back to national TV. national TV, national television, she was making a shit ton of money doing that. And that's great that, in network television, yeah, you will accumulate a lot of money. But it just goes to show that her doing all of this, she wasn't happy. When, she was happy from the roar of the crowd and doing the show. But after when she went home and closed them blinds, she was self-medicating. She was unhappy. It's kind of the same thing when I was reading about Twitch from So You Could Dance. It's funny. I wanted to bring that story up today, but I was like, there's so much stuff going on that I thought was way more interesting. And people was going in on his ex-wife because like, well, why is she putting out a book and all this other stuff? And it's just like how we found out, apparently, according to her, she said she was cleaning out her closet. Shout out to Eminem. Maybe he was cleaning out his closet in that song. She was cleaning out her closet and found he had drugs up in there, hidden in a shoebox. And she didn't know that side about him. So he was self-medicating and all this other stuff. And she was like, well, I don't understand why he didn't seek therapy and he didn't come to me and talk to me about it. I was like, okay, sis, see, this is what happens when, and I'm all for my race mixing, but this is the part where a lot of you white people are white and y'all you don't understand what it's like to be married to a black man and what black people deal with, especially when it comes to Black people in therapy or people of color in therapy. It's like it is looked down upon. Now, recently, we're seeing more people of color who are seeking therapy. And then also you got to think about it as that it's a financial situation. Although I don't think he was hurting for cash. Twitch had a very prominent career. Like outside of doing So You Think You Could Dance, he was on the Ellen Show. He was doing a bunch of other stuff. So he was even a judge at one point on So You Think You Could Dance. I think on the season with JoJo Siwa, another one that irritates my damn spirit. But they was doing stuff together. So he always had a coin coming in, but it was just like, on the outside, I think a lot of times people need to check on their strong friends instead of their weak friends. It's easy to go after people who are just like, oh, I'm so tired and I'm dealing with all this other stuff. But your strong friends, we be out here struggling too. There be times when I be having my situations where it's like, I know I may look on the outside that I present this strong exterior. And for the most part, I do. But trust and believe, I have my moments. And I'm very, it's the Virgo side. We can be very stubborn and we don't like asking for help. It's like, we'll deal with it on our own. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we don't need another situation with her fainting. She was talking about she was overheating, but I think it was something to do with the Graves' disease, lymphedema. Something was going on with her because, she has a bunch of ailments. So I'm thinking that's what all that was. Well, we love you. Well, love you too, dear. So we love you. I know you were just playing. Okay, so what's the next story? Okay, let's get into this Jennifer story where it looks like she and Ben Affleck have finally wrapped up this damn marriage. Because I was wondering, I was like, why are people out here still talking about the possibility that they're still married, and then they'll be like, well, they're divorced. I'm like, really? But now the article came out. TMZ, I think, talked about it yesterday, that we're getting closer to finalizing everything. So Jennifer, who's 55, and Ben, who's 52, who wed in 2022, will officially end their marriage on February 20th, 2025, with the pair each walking away from what they individually acquired during their brief union. This is according to the Daily Mail. Now, the pair have also reached an agreement on their $61 million Beverly Hills mansion they bought together, although the terms will remain private. I also heard that she gets to keep the $5 million ring that he got her too. The former couple wed without a prenup, with their cumulative wealth sitting at $550 million, with Lopez's assets accounting for $400 million of their wealth treasure chest. Well, I think we all kind of knew that out of Ben Affleck and Miss Jennifer, that Jennifer was like, I won't say the breadwinner, but she had the most money. And that's because Ben is an actor, director. He's Mr. Hollywood and that sort of thing. He doesn't really do a lot of brands and endorsements, except like Dunkin' Donuts and all that stuff. But Jennifer is the one who has accumulated the most money because between the acting, the music, and all the other deals that she has going on, the beauty and the beauty line, and the clothes and all the other stuff that she has going on, she has all these brand deals. So that's where she's accumulated a lot of her money. If it was from acting alone, she probably wouldn't have as much. So the actor, director, and singer-actress eloped at the Little White Chapel in Las Vegas on July 16, 2022, 18 years after breaking off their first engagement in 2004. Now, the couple again exchanged vows at Affleck's plantation. Y'all want to call it an estate. It's a damn plantation outside of Savannah, Georgia on August 20th of this year, which was also the day that she filed for divorce last year on August 20th. I think that was a jab at him. So, yeah, on their 2-year anniversary, she filed. They had first rekindled their romance in early 2021, just weeks after Jennifer broke off her engagement to A-Rod, who allegedly was cheating. Now, TMZ, who were first to report on the settlement, reports that Affleck will hold onto his stake in his production company, Artist Equity, which he founded in 2022 with his BFF, Matt Damon. The company has produced Air, The Accountant 2, and that flop at the box office, Unstoppable. But it's a flop over in the UK. I did recently look, and I was on Prime Video, and it says that I think Unstoppable is going straight to streaming. So it's not even getting a US theatrical release. Because if it did bad over there in the UK, I guess they're just like, no, we'll just release it straight to streaming. They also produced, they also forgot to bring in Kiss of the Spider-Woman, which is the musical that Hannaford is about to star in. They produced that as well, his production company. Now, Lopez worked on projects including Shotgun Wedding, This Is Me Now, and The Mother during their marriage. The settlement, which was mediated by celeb disso queen Laura Wasser, also reveals that Hannaford is dropping Affleck as a last name and going back to Jennifer Lynn Lopez. Well, girl, I don't care. As many times I get married, I'm not changing my government. Now, they also said Affleck and Lopez both have made millions over the course of the decades-long careers from entertainment products, investments, branding deals, and more. The actor who was also invested in he's invested in the UFC. I did not know that. They said the actor was also invested in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, launched his own production firm, and worked with more than 100 firms and TV shows, amassing a net worth of $150 million. So that's all his accumulation, whereas Hannaford has $400 million. While Lopez film and music credits, together with her beauty business, investments, and brand ambassador deals, have earned her even more, totaling $400 million. Now, the couple could have been legally obliged to split the millions they acquired during their marriage to 50-50, which includes their properties, cars, and overall earnings due to California community property law. But Lopez allegedly earns about $40 million annually, Cosmopolitan reports, but this total may vary based on the number of projects she takes on each year. Now, Affleck's annual salary, like his estranged wife's, likely differs from year to year, but in 2020, the actor amassed $55 million, earning him a spot in Forbes Celebrity 100's earning list. This comes a day after Affleck received a visit from his estranged wife, Lopez, several hours before the Golden Globes on Sunday, which probably makes me wonder if they did that, then they probably worked out the whole situation, around that time. Now, they said that the Selena star dropped by his home and even appeared to give Ben's son Samuel a hug. Was y'all propped outside the house? Now, Hannaford's child, Emmy, who's 16, was spotted emerging from the property with a large gift in their hands as Ben trailed behind. The sighting comes after it has been reported that Ben and Hannaford would remain in each other's lives despite the divorce. Now, last month of December, Affleck and Lopez were also seen reuniting as they exchanged gifts at the Soho House in LA. Said they have every intention of continuing to be in each other's lives despite not being romantically involved, which I feel is weird because why are y'all still communicating? Like, if a man who broke my heart the first time breaks it a second time, I'm sorry, if we don't have any children together, I'm not being the bigger person, and we're not having yearly Christmas visits, or I'm bringing people gifts, or whatever the case is. But then again, I think the situation that maybe keeps them cordial is because of their children. His the 3 kids that he has with Jennifer Garner, I feel like maybe they like Hannaford. And Hannaford's kids get along with Ben's kids. And so they kind of have like this blended family thing, even though they're divorced. So I guess maybe that works out for them. But me, I'm sorry, I'm petty. I'm like, once we go our separate ways, we going our separate ways. But then again, it's hard because when you're in Hollywood, when you're in Hollywood, you're gonna bump into each other on certain occasions. So I guess be the bigger person, the more mature person, and make it work. So I'll say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? We now know when the official wrap-up date for their marriage is happening, and they get to walk away with their own money. I think that's great. Because I was worried. I was like, well, damn, Hannaford accumulates a lot more money. And I feel like Ben wanted to be the bigger person and just be like, you know what? You go walk, you get to keep your stuff. I get to keep mine. And she could have been petty too. I was like, okay, well, now if you go on top, try to accumulate my $400 million fortune, then I want a piece of artist equity. And he'd be like, oh, hell no, you not. And then Matt Damon get caught up in the situation. He's like, well, I ain't fucking up. What I got to do with this whole situation? So y'all need to work it out. But I'm glad they worked it out. This is me speculating. But I'm glad they worked it out. And now they can go their separate ways. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Silverman says we all wear masks to hide our pain and vulnerability. Yeah, we do, because we don't want to be perceived as weak. So we don't, we look the other way in regards to those situations. Okay, so now let's get to our final topic, and let's talk about RuPaul and the Vivienne. So now, yesterday we talked about the Vivienne and her passing and that sort of thing, and we talked about the people who show their love and condolences, and we also talked about Tyra Sanchez being messy on the internet, and I had to windmill on somebody and block their ass afterwards because they talking about, well, you could have made this video a minute and a half. Really? So I'm supposed to judge all of this stuff about the people who sent their love and condolences on top of what Tyra said into a 2-minute video where you don't have any on your channel? Like, when you get your YouTube channel, and this is why I be telling people, when you get your own thing, you could tell yourself how long you want to make a video. When it's me, I'm gonna talk how long the fuck I want to talk on my own shit. But besides all of that, I was wondering, because we heard from World of Wonder, we heard from Michelle Visage, we heard from the people that were all behind the scenes of Drag Race and the production company and all that other stuff. We hadn't heard from RuPaul. And it didn't dawn on me. I was like, well, wait a minute, why haven't we heard from RuPaul? But then apparently he put up something, a tribute, but I missed it. I guess all the other blogs or whatever who talked about the death of the Vivienne didn't include it in there. I feel like the whole thing between Tyra and the Vivienne and Candy Muse talking about she about to beat her ass when she see her, that pretty much overshadowed everything. And I think also they started putting that in the comments over on RuPaul's YouTube channel, and people was getting mad. So they were like, well, yeah. So I'll pull that up I'll go into that in a second. But first, let me pull up RuPaul's Instagram so that way y'all could see what he posted. So he posted this picture and said the following: with a broken heart, I joined the entire Drag Race universe in mourning the loss of the Vivienne, an incredibly talented queen and lovely human being. Hold on, because I was like, I want to actually go to his page and read the comments, because I'll pull up in a second. So, the Emmy-winning host and producer of the Global Drag Race series posted Monday to Instagram a throwback photo of herself on the main stage with the Vivienne and honor the star in the photo's caption. Now, including the Vivienne, 5 Drag Race franchise queens have passed away since the series launched in 2009. Drag Race Thailand competitor Bandit died in 2023, with hers following the deaths of season 2 contestant Sahara Davenport in 2012. And I feel like Sahara Davenport, like when I first started watching Drag Race, I think that Sahara was the first person that we had heard of that passed away. But I was like, okay, that hurts when I saw all of that in regards of the whole situation. That was like the most familiar that we had. So then, so Sahara passed in 2012, season 8 and All Stars 3 queen Chi Chi DeVane in 2020, and Drag Race UK competitor Cherry Valentine in 2022. And I actually got to meet Chi Chi DeVane briefly. It was like, I think I was coming out of my God, where was I? Industry in Hell's Kitchen with a friend. And across the street, it was Chi Chi DeVane, Bob the Drag Queen, and I think also Evie Oddly was there, if I'm not mistaken. And I just said like a brief hello because my friend knew Bob and all of them. So I was like, yeah, we hugged, kissed, and everything. And then I said hello to Chi Chi. So there was that. So then, now they also said prior to crowning the Vivienne as the UK Drag Race Season 1 winner in 2029, RuPaul named the Queen as the official Drag Race ambassador to the UK. Now, prior to her death, the Vivienne returned to compete on Drag Race as part of All-Star 7 cast in 2022, marking the first time the show gathered a group of past winners competing to become the first queen to win the show twice. Now, all of the Vivienne's fellow All-Star 7 queens also mourned her death on social media, including Season 3 champ Raja, Season 5's Jinx Monsoon, Season 11 victor Evie Oddly, Season 12 winner Jada Essence Hall, All-Stars 4 champions Trinity the Tuck and Monet Exchange, and All-Stars 5 winner Shea Coulee. Now, they went on to say the following. I don't know why a lot of the stuff is blurring up in here. But they went on and said the following up in here. They said, I can't thank you enough for your light. I don't even know what to say right now. I just know that you were such an incredible person to everyone around you and made real space for me. I'm going to miss you so much at the Vivienne. This is what Jada wrote on Instagram, while Trinity shared that she had the best of times with the Vivienne across their friendship. Now, Raja hosted a tearful IG live session on Sunday, shortly after the news of Vivienne's death circulated online, in which she mourned her friend and celebrated their time together, as did Shea in a heartfelt Instagram post, saying, "This is an incredibly hard one. When I heard the news, I climbed into the bed, pulled the covers over my head, and went to sleep hoping it was just a dream. There aren't enough words to describe your impact on not just only me, but the entire drag landscape." This is what Shea posted. "Your joy, humor, and supportive sisterhood will stay with me forever, like a handprint on my heart, hoping and looking forward to when our celestial paths cross. Until then, love you dearly, sister. You really were one of a kind." Now, longtime Drag Race judge Michelle Visage, additionally reacted to the news as heartbreaking and shared a photo of herself with the Vivienne on her Instagram profile after the news broke. And then on the cast of Drag Race Live even dedicated Sunday night's performance of their Vegas show to the Vivienne, with the audience clapping at the gesture. Now, the Vivienne's publicist, Simon Jones, first announced his client's death on social media, stressing that he would not share further details of the 32-year-old's cause of death. So yeah, I'm going to have that muted while that plays, in case y'all haven't seen the tribute. And some of the people in the comments over on RuPaul's page said this. One said, "Please acknowledge Raven as the winner of season 2 and remove Tyra's legacy from her disgusting comments about Viv." And the funny part was, I've had so many people in my comments saying this, like when I posted like a separate little YouTube, like a short of the segment that I talked about. A lot of people were saying this, that Ru needs to acknowledge this. Ru needs to come in and take away the crown and the scepter from Tyra Sanchez and crown Raven, or whatever the case is. And what I got to say about this, the people that won, they won. Tyra won, even though quiet as it's kept, I would have preferred either Raven or Jujubee. Those are my choices. I wasn't really thinking about Tyra being the winner, but Ru saw something in her, and for the most part, for a couple of seasons, Tyra was good with hers until I don't know what happened. Maybe she snapped. Maybe she smoked too much damn meth and lost her goddamn mind. I don't know, but Tyra been a hot ass mess in the past couple of years. But here's the thing: Tyra, at the end of the day, is struggling to get bookings. She's banned from all Drag Race events, especially when she threatened to bomb DragCon and take the life of Morgan McMichaels, among other people. And now she's talking about about to unalive Candy Muse, because Candy Muse was like it's on site. So Tyra's pretty much lost a situation. She is pretty much down in the dirt. She's down in the gutter. She's trash. She's a mess. She's basically a Azealia Banks of drag. Like, nobody's checking for her. Although she always on social media piping up, says bullshit, and then when people call her out, she want to play the victim. So at this point, it's like, yeah, Tyra is, you know, cast by the wayside. Raven is winning. Raven is Rue's makeup artist. So she's successful in that way. She doesn't, you know, you don't have to worry about Raven struggling, because Raven was just on the pit stop with Monet Exchange, the recent episode. So she's successful in so many ways. Raven also just did an interview on Monet Exchange's other show that she does. Raven's also, you know, got her own little makeup show on World of Wonder. She's, you know, so she's not struggling. She's not having, she's not, you know, she's successful in her own right. And I always say this on the show. Look, they even got a song called Losing is the New Winning, right? So even those who haven't been the most, haven't won the show, haven't been the most successful, in so many ways, they're winning in other ways. They've gone off and done shows. Look at Nikki Doll. Nikki Doll didn't win. She was like, what was it? When did she go home? Like third or fourth in her season? She's hosting Drag Race France. Jujubee didn't win. And y'all always got that running joke in regards to Jujubee and going to be on every new season of Drag Race. Y'all got her coming back. Jujubee is living her best life right now. She's in Drag the Musical, which is a musical that Alaska has down on Broadway. I just saw it a couple of weeks ago. So, and I, you know, and Juju and I had a short little brief conversation after the show was over. So, the girls is happy. The girls is doing what needs to be done. We don't need to be worrying about, you know, Tyra is a mess. I know y'all talking about we need to take away, you know, her stripper of her crown and all other stuff. But I feel like the court of public opinion, y'all pretty much have stripped her away from her stuff anyway. So regardless of whether or not she keeps it, she's not using that. She's not being responsible with that power that she's been given. So who cares about her? And then another person said that we could move on. Then the Danny Beard even said, you meant the world to her, sending love. Another person said about this photo, back when the photo that I showed you earlier, back when Drag Race was only in the US, Ru flew to the UK to promote the show long before there was a UK version and crowned the Vivienne as the first and only UK ambassador at a press event. Her prize, a trip to the Drag Race Season 8 set, unheard of at the time. Viv got a set tour and lunch with Michelle Visage and snapped this rare pic with Ru in drag. She even returned the next day to sit in the audience for the drag challenge so you can spot her in the audience cutaways for all you super fans. Bonus, she's wearing her favorite Pete Burns Westwood boots, later seen on her Drag Race UK season. This photo was special to her and lives on her IG in her own words. So Ru giving us a little Easter egg in regards of what this was. And it was great to see that somebody actually pointed out what this photo actually means. So I feel like it's even more sentimental that we got that little inside tea on it. So shout out to Ru. Shout out to the Vivienne and all her family and everybody who's, you know, in this sad news. I was a Vivienne fan. Unfortunately, I never got the opportunity to meet her. I would have loved to, but may she just rest in peace. And it's sad that, you know, we lose so many great people. And it's funny because I had some people in my comments. It was like, can y'all trade? I think they even said it on here in one of the comments. I think that's why I read it. One person said, I think they said that y'all need to trade. Oh, I think it was in my comments, actually. It wasn't in this one. Somebody said, can we trade Vivienne for Tyra? Like, they need to swap spots. So y'all shady for that. But so that's the latest that we have on this. Shout out to RuPaul. And I want to hear your thoughts on this. So let me know in the comments down below. Sidebar, before I get to the comments and stuff, I was trying something experimental. I don't know if y'all noticed, like when I was doing the pictures, you see like it's in a little corner where it looks a little newsy. I was like, how do y'all feel about that look? Or do you want me to go back to the old one where I had the big picture and I was small in the corner? I was kind of liking it, where I was like, I'm feeling my Sue Simmons. I was trying to think of a reporter. And I had a little news thing in the corner. Just experimenting and trying out different things on the show. Okay, so let's see what people are saying. I would love for Ru to call out Tyra, but she hardly ever does when one of her many queens act up. And I feel like, you know what? I kind of wish that she would. But, you know, Ru's always been in this whole situation of, unless they paying your bills, pay them bitches no mind, whatever they think of you is none of my business. You know all her little phrases that she says. And she's like, okay, what would me addressing Tyra's problematic behavior? What would that accomplish? Because it don't seem like that anything would change from it. Because then next thing you know, you're gonna have Tyra coming out here being disrespectful to RuPaul. It's gonna cause a whole nother snowball. So I don't know if it would change anything. I don't know if her coming out would change the narrative. I don't know if it would. So I just feel like maybe her not addressing it is just like, okay, that queen is tired. She's a mess. I ain't got time to be sitting out here going back and forth with people on social media. Did you know that Lucky Stars of the new season of Drag Race is Nina Bonina Brown's former daughter? They had a falling out after she filmed the show last summer. I had no idea. But now that you're looking at it, funny enough, when we talk about like how when you're talking about her drag aesthetic and style, it is very Nina Bonina Brown, because Nina Bonina Brown was doing a lot of the paper mache type of masks and things of that nature, especially when you watch how they do their aesthetic and their looks. So I didn't know that. I may have to find out some more tea on that. You said, I like the side picture, but try to get square size pictures so the picture isn't small. Yeah, so I think it was because I'm basically pulling things from my website. So maybe the old way used to work. But yeah, it's just like I would have to use certain photos and stuff for it to work. So it would work. I guess I would just need better pictures and put them in here. But I was like, what else do they have? Oh yeah, because then they have like slides and PDFs. So I would have to literally put some slides and stuff up in here in order to make all that work. But anyway, so we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button and that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm gonna come on tomorrow because Thursday, Friday, and I'm gonna be busy for the next 4 days. So yeah, tomorrow I'm definitely come on and give you all a show. And I'll probably be the next show until the last of the show until Monday. I'm gonna try to see if I can squeeze in and give you all some extra shows. Maybe I have to come on real early, work it out. But yeah, so I'll definitely be back tomorrow to give you all a new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Thank you all for watching. And once again, Robert, thank you for the super sticker. And yeah, so until next time, ciao, darlings.